CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 6 o'clock on Wednesday, August the 5th. Welcome to the day. It's going to be sunny, but maybe a little hazy again, just like yesterday. Full forecast to come, but right now, let's get to the news. And sitting in for Lisa Best here with the 6 o'clock report is Steve Young.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. Lloyd Robertson, a stalwart of Canadian TV news for decades, who earned the unrelenting trust of viewers, has passed away at the age of 92. CTV News says Robertson's family confirmed his death last night. Robertson fronted the CTV National News for 35 years until September 2011. CTV's current chief anchor, Omar Sachedina, who is mourning his loss, shares in a social media post their first meeting.
That was in the building cafeteria. And I remember thinking at the time, here's this towering figure of Canadian journalism who remembers everybody's first name in the cafeteria and even the smallest details about their personal lives. He would always ask how their families are doing. He had this amazing ability to connect with people.
Sachedina wrote on Instagram last night, "I'm really going to miss him." BC wildfire officials say that as the southern and central interior of BC is entering a drying trend over the next couple of days, there is the potential for more fire starts this week. Cliff Chapman with the BC Wildfire Service says temperatures are expected to increase to the mid-30s with no rainfall, while dry lightning is in the forecast for Thursday. If it materializes as expected, Chapman says they'll see more fire starts across the southern interior, where most of BC's estimated 115 wildfires are burning. There are 6 wildfires of note in the province, all of them burning near communities in the southern interior. Elections BC says the opposition Conservatives outraised the governing NDP in the second quarter of this year. The provincial agency says the Conservatives raised just short of $1.15 million in the months of April, May, and June, edging out the NDP's $1.11 million in fundraising. The reporting period covers 2 months where the Conservatives were in a leadership race and 1 month of leadership under new leader Kerry Lynn Finley. The BC Greens, meanwhile, raised $228,000 in the second quarter. Police in Victoria on the lookout for a man after graffiti was sprayed on a doorway in a possible hate-motivated offense. Victoria Police say the vandalism happened around 4 a.m. on Sunday in the 2100 block of Vancouver Street. Photo released by police shows a man with long hair and a mustache spraying a door. Police say the case is being investigated as both mischief and as a possible case of hate-motivated vandalism, and anyone with information is asked to contact investigators. Ottawa's awarded Telesat a $2.3 billion contract to provide satellite communications for the Canadian Armed Forces in the Arctic.
It's the largest contract ever for the Ottawa-based company, which has been in operation for about 60 years. The federal government has said the Canadian military currently has limited options for satellite communications in the Arctic. Ottawa signed a strategic partnership late last year with Telesat and Canadian satellite manufacturer MDA Space. The military is expected to gain access to communications through Telesat's low Earth orbit network in early 2028. Hannah Stoles, The Canadian Press.
Nanaimo RCMP have arrested a man in connection with a fire outside a downtown fast food restaurant. Fire crews were called to 60 Victoria Crescent just after 4 yesterday morning. The blaze caused extensive damage to the building's exterior. Investigators reviewed video footage and quickly identified a suspect. A 56-year-old man was arrested about 7 hours later. Brian Adams heading back to Vegas.
The musician has announced a new set of bare bones acoustic residency shows at the Encore Theater at the Wynn Las Vegas. He's set to play 5 shows, October the 28th through November 1st. Tickets go on sale Friday. I'm Mark Mayfield.
And that's your news to 6:05. And we had some technical problems with the online poll yesterday, so it still reads, would you start using BC Transit or use it more often if service and routes improved? And as we mentioned, it was very decisive, 66%.
It remains so.
Nothing has changed.
Your opinion remains. Okay. We gave you that extra day to change your mind, and there's no change.
Well played, my friend. Well played.
Well, Steve, did you notice the smoke haze at all yesterday?
I actually noticed it on the West Shore this morning.
Yeah, more so than you did yesterday.
Well, the difference between Langford and Esquimalt was stark in terms of air quality.
It's funny how, you don't have to go far to get a difference in Greater Victoria for a lot of things. I certainly saw it. Like, when I went to go see the snowbirds yesterday, you'd kind of look out across the strait. You'd see, there's no mountains. Where's the mountains? Well, they're behind this haze. But it didn't smell like fire. Or, that smoke smell that sometimes comes with it. I didn't notice it myself that much. Did you?
I didn't yesterday. Today, when I got out of into the car, absolutely.
Yeah? That's when you noticed it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's the same again today. We got that smoky haze with us. We got sunshine otherwise, but yeah, still a little hazy out there. And I'll get you that full forecast in just a moment. Right now, it's 13 degrees. Now over to the sports. Lots going on for the local scene. We'll start with the Victoria Shamrocks. They took an early lead in their best-of-5 semifinal series, running away from the Nanaimo Timbermen with a 15-6 score. They say the official audience was 1,955 fans at the Q Center. Lots of folks coming out to watch the game. Eli McLaughlin, by the way, for the Shamrocks, scoring 6 of those 15 goals. The Shamrocks, so we've got this 1-0 series lead in the best-of-5. Game 2 goes tomorrow night in Nanaimo. For the Victoria Harbour Cats, at this point in the season, it's looking like they're not making the playoffs, and then last night's game was canceled. So the smoky haze here in Victoria might not be that bad, but over in Washington State, there are areas that are bad, and because of air quality concerns, the Wenatchee Apple Sox canceled Game 2 of the 3-game series with the Victoria Harbour Cats. We'll have to see what happens for tonight's scheduled game. For baseball, right-hander Jameson Taillon is scheduled to make his Toronto debut when the visiting Blue Jays wrap up a 3-game series against the AL West leading Houston Astros. The Jays acquired Taillon from the Chicago Cubs before Monday's trade deadline. Now, meanwhile, yesterday, Blue Jays playing, and pitcher Treyas Savage is going to have an MRI today on his left knee after leaving last night's game in Houston before the start of the third inning. While warming up for the third inning in a scoreless game at that point, his knee appeared to buckle on the pitch. So we'll see what's happening with him. The Houston Astros did beat the visiting Blue Jays 7-2 in that game last night. The Vancouver Whitecaps opened their Leagues Cup campaign with a 1-0 loss to visiting Atlanta FC on Tuesday, last night. So this was Major League Soccer and the Liga MX, Mexican League. They kind of mix in and do this League Cup. That was the opening game for the Whitecaps, and that is your CFAX Sports to 6:09. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. If you're heading out on a summer road trip, shop at Thrifty Foods and swipe your Scene Plus card to save up to 15 cents per liter at Shell. See in store for details. Okay, to traffic and weather. I'll start with the weather. There's not a lot happening in traffic at this hour of the morning, so let's talk about the weather, and we'll talk about the smoke haze a little bit because I mentioned that already. Today's a sunny day, but hazy. A high of 25, maybe a little humidity, making it feel warmer, but also a little cooler if you're by the water. So, yeah. One of those days where if you want it cooler, just head down to the breezy shoreline. Otherwise, a humidex of 28 where it will feel quite warm inland. But what about this smoke? What about this haze, which was apparent yesterday? Maybe not super thick or super noticeable, but, a little bit noticeable. How bad is it? So the air quality index from Environment Canada, right now we're at a 2, which is in the low risk. 1 is the best, and then we're just like a little up from that at a 2. But as the day goes on, and if the smoky haze kind of sticks around, we are predicted to get up to a 3, which is a little worse than it is right now, but is still in the low risk category. So even though we got some of the smoky haze for the greater Victoria area, the forecast is for our air quality to stay within a low risk. For some parts of Washington State, different story. We're talking about the Wenatchee Apple Sox canceling the Harper Cats game that they were supposed to play yesterday because there are areas where the smoke is a bit thicker and heavier. But for Victoria, looks like we're dodging it. Okay, so that's just the weather part of things. What about the roads? No major incidents right now. Everything is smooth sailing. There will be that ongoing FortisBC gas main work, Langford Parkway and the Langford Lake Road area, so watch out for that. That'll be causing delays again today, and it's up until August 10th that they'll be doing that work. And for the BC Ferries, it's a busy day yesterday. Everybody fleeing the long weekend. What's going on today? The 7 o'clock sailing has lots of room. It's about 60% full. In business news, the North American stock markets will open up a little later this hour, so let's take a look at how yesterday closed with Aaron Sousa.
Canada's main stock index jumped 575 points yesterday. Tech and base metals led gains, pushing Toronto's S&P TSX to 35,801. In New York, the Dow was up by 907 points, and the Nasdaq gained 671. Asian markets followed suit this morning. The Nikkei in Tokyo rose 3.6%. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong was up by just 62 points. The loonie is trading overseas at 71.1 cents US. Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc has returned to Washington. The trip comes amid growing U.S. pressure ahead of talks to renew CUSMA. A source says LeBlanc is meeting with industry groups, various U.S. senators, and members of Canada's negotiating team. Ottawa is moving to designate a proposed West Coast oil pipeline in the national interest. A notice sets the deadline for public comment on September 18th. And some American Chipotle restaurants have pulled jalapenos due to possible salmonella. It's not known if that includes any of the chain's 86 locations in Canada. From the Canadian Press, I'm Aaron Sousa.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on this Wednesday. I'm Ryan. We got Steve in for Lisa on the news desk again today. Hey, Steve, how you doing?
I was doing very well until I looked at the scroll and see if you're watching on TV.
Yeah,
you're seeing all of yesterday's stories.
Oh, and yesterday you were also having TV problems.
Gremlins.
The gremlins, they're here for you. And it's always the way, you fill in for somebody and that's when everything won't work. I
erased all of that stuff. That's the first thing I did this morning.
Yeah. So apologies if you're reading the TV scroll and you see something that looks out of date. It's being worked on. You're not wrong. Well, hey, did you catch any of the snowbirds yesterday, Steve?
I did see some highlights.
Yeah.
And I actually went into the footage from CTV because we have access to it. And there was a lot of people out there.
Oh, man. And you know how you knew how many people were out there is if you tried to drive around anywhere. So I had to go to Sydney for an appointment, and I live in Esquimalt. So, and this was just beforehand, like in the couple of hours leading up to it. So when I was driving back, it was about the 4 o'clock hour. I was trying to get from Sydney in, and I don't know, maybe I was imagining it, but the traffic just seemed way heavier than usual. And then I tried to get into Esquimalt, and the same thing. The traffic, even though I know it was around rush hour, but the traffic just seemed way worse going that way. Usually things kind of empty the other way.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is going on? And then I got into Esquimalt, into the neighborhood not far from the waterfront, and I understood. It was just jammed with people going to see the snowbirds from there, people who were deciding not to carry on to the Dallas Road waterfront area, to the Fairfield neighborhood of Victoria. A lot of folks had the idea of like, hey, what if I go just across the harbor to Esquimalt and park there because it might be less busy? Well, there were so many people who did that. The Esquimalt was jammed, all the streets lined with cars. So, yeah, it was remarkable how many people came out. That was just my one little sense of it from that. I can't imagine how being in Fairfield was. I was seeing all the online postings about the traffic jams caused by people going home afterwards. So, anyways, all that was going on. But the snowbirds themselves, lovely display. It was great.
You know, when I noticed that we were going to have some issues, at about 2:30, I checked the internet, and they had a picture, you know, where the flag stand, the big flagpole is, Dallas Road and Beacon Hill Park.
Yeah.
And there's that nice hill that overlooks, it's a perfect spot.
Perfect hill.
Already jammed, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
2 in the afternoon. People really responded. People came out in droves to go and, in a way, kind of say goodbye to the snowbirds. We're going to see them on Saturday. Apparently, they're going to buzz the David Foster Foundation event in the Inner Harbor. But, I mean, as far as seeing a full snowbirds performance in Victoria, that was your last shot, unless something changes. And people really came out.
The heart was a nice touch at the end.
The heart was great.
It's a nice job.
We can talk more about that coming up in just a few moments, but we should get the news headlines. At 6:17, here's Steve.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. Checking news headlines. A new wildfire sparked on the island yesterday. The small blaze located just north of Gold River. The Wildfire Service says the fire is already under control, not expected to grow. The local fire department and initial attack crews responded quickly. As the damage from the devastating wildfire along Okanagan Lake in BC is being assessed, officials are warning of the potential of more fires as dry lightning storms are forecast for this week in the interior. Cliff Chapman with the BC Wildfire Service says temperatures are expected to increase to the mid-30s, and dry lightning is in the forecast for Thursday. If it materializes as expected, Chapman says they'll see more fire starts across the interior, where most of BC's estimated 116 fires are burning. The southern half of the island will be dealing with wildfire smoke again today. Forecasters expect it'll be lighter than yesterday and a little more noticeable on the west shore than in Victoria. Environment Canada's air quality index will stay at 3 throughout the day. That's low risk. Most Canadian travelers don't know that Ottawa's travel advisories can void their travel insurance. This according to a survey commissioned by the Foreign Service. The survey was commissioned by Global Affairs Canada and conducted in January. It found many Canadians aren't sure how embassies abroad can actually help them. The survey found just 28% of respondents were aware that changes to the risk level Ottawa attributes to destinations in its travel alerts can change the validity of travel insurance, leading insurers to completely or partially deny claims. And that's your news headlines to 6:19.
There's talking about the snowbird-related traffic jams yesterday, and texter at 71010 says, we scootered to Dallas. I have never, ever seen a traffic jam in a bike lane before. But they sure did yesterday. I heard about that because they had the bike valet. People were trying to avoid driving, but so many people were cycling. I was seeing all these posts as well, kind of like our texter there, just talking about traffic jams in the bike lanes. That's how bad it was. Wow. Okay. Well, we'd love to hear about your experience with the snowbird yesterday. Text us, snowbirds yesterday. Text us at 71010. Let us know how the show went or maybe how the traffic went for you. But a quick aside, we want to change topics for a moment and talk to a group called Nature Canada. They are weighing in now on sort of federal policy when it comes to national importance of species at risk and how some of the federal policies right now are maybe interfering with some of those protections of species at risk. At least that's my rough understanding. We want to get them to weigh in next.
Whether it's siding, gutters, or decking, ProTech Exterior Products has it all. Visit beahomepro.com to find out more.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Smooth sailing right now. No major delays, crashes, or problems. There will be FortisBC gas main work again on Langford Parkway starting at about 7 o'clock this morning and going until 7 o'clock tonight. Expect occasional stoppages and disruptions as this work goes on. And it's going to be a little while as well. It's not just today. It's going to be a bigger project. For BC Ferries, no sailing rates right now. Things are actually looking a lot lighter than they did yesterday. And then in the weather, sunshine today, still at smoke haze in the air. Environment Canada saying that the air quality index is never going to leave a sort of a low risk area. You might notice a bit of haze in the air, but we're not getting into any kind of concerning air quality, according to Environment Canada. So just heads up on that. We will eventually get to a high today of 25 degrees. Might be feeling a little warmer in the humidity. Right now, it's 13.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
You might remember a discussion paper that caused a bit of a stir in conservationist groups after it suggested a federal policy where projects of national importance could seek exceptions to species at risk protections. It's something that the group Nature Canada is weighing in on now with a submission that argues bypassing environmental reviews won't actually speed up economic projects. What's their take? Well, let's reach out to their director of policy. So this is with Nature Canada, Akash Maharaj, joining us on the line. Sir, how you doing?
I'm well. Thank you for inviting me to join you.
Yeah, great to talk to you. Now, remind everybody what Nature Canada is before we get into this.
Nature Canada is one of our country's oldest conservation institutions. Our mandate is pretty much embedded in our name. We protect Canada's lands, waters, habitats, and biodiversity. We have about 250,000 individual members across Canada, who are divided up into about 1,200 local groups.
And you're weighing in on this issue. Now, remind us of the issue a bit more, because I know just in general people might have a sense that the federal government right now is in a big, eager mood to build things and build Canada stronger and all of that. And one of the kind of, I guess, points out of all of that, though, is making sure that the environment is still protected even as we try to quickly build things. Now, what's the bit with the species at risk and the way that the protections there might be kind of colliding with that effort to build things fast?
You're right. The Government of Canada is in an urgent situation to try to stimulate the economy, largely because of the tariff war with the United States. And that is an entirely appropriate objective for a government at any time, but especially now. The problem from our perspective is that the government has decided that the barrier to economic development is that our country's environmental standards are too high. They have published a paper called the Getting Major Projects Built in Canada discussion paper, a typically bureaucratic name, but that title belies how dramatic some of the proposals are. As you say, if these proposals go forward, it would give the Government of Canada the right to waive many of the environmental laws and protections, including the ones that protect species at risk. It would create zones of effective environmental lawlessness where existing environmental protections would not apply. It would give ministers the right to allow their favourite projects to jump the queue and to evade the usual forms of environmental assessment. Our response to the Government of Canada is, if they think that their environmental review processes are, as they themselves say, they're too bureaucratic, they're too slow, they're full of duplications and inefficiencies, if that's the case, then they should reform their bureaucracy. They should not drop environmental standards, and they certainly should not give ministers the right to allow favoured corporations to evade those standards altogether.
Now, is this at all connected to things like, for us here in BC, one of the big projects we tend to hear the most about is the oil pipeline from Alberta to the coast. The southern route has been chosen as the one that they would do if this thing does move forward. Does that connect at all to this story? Like, is this one of those projects that could see some of these environmental bureaucratic processes waived to get things done fast?
Very much so.
Okay.
When the first pipeline was built to the coast of BC, the Trans Mountain Pipeline, it, as I'm sure you'll recall, fell foul of all sorts of environmental laws. in large measure or significantly because the pipeline, as it was originally proposed, had implications for harming the southern resident orca population. The new pipeline that the government of Alberta has proposed would massively expand the capacity of the Trans Mountain Pipeline and would geometrically increase those risks. But the government of Canada is considering the new Alberta proposals under its new policies. And I think it's quite clear that both governments, federal and provincial, are hoping that they will be able to build something while not having to deal with the environmental regulations that the Trans Mountain Pipeline did. But what these governments see as obstacles, I think most people in British Columbia and most people across Canada see as necessary protections for the natural world.
Now, where's all this at? Because, again, we started this discussion by talking about a discussion paper that is mentioning all the things you were just talking about. Where is that at? Is this a done deal, or is the government still kind of figuring out what it wants to do with this direction and with things like the policies laid out in this paper? Or where is this at right now?
I think had the federal government had its way, we would be well down the road already. Initially, they had published this paper, and notwithstanding how dramatic its proposals are, they gave Canadians only 30 days to respond. There was widespread condemnation of this. If you are a government and you publish a paper that would significantly overturn large parts of Canadian law, and you say to Canadians, you have 30 days to give us your opinion, you're not really interested in the opinions of Canadians. After that response, they extended the consultation period by a few weeks. That consultation period has now closed. But I understand that the government was shocked that they received more than 21,000 responses from ordinary people straight across the country, the vast majority of which were horrified by what they are proposing. And that really is a surprise. I mean, the truth is, as important as these issues are, responding to a bureaucratic consultation paper is not the way that most Canadians want to spend their summers. The fact that 21,000 people did so says something about this having touched a nerve. The government will now have to decide whether it's going to proceed or not, and if it does proceed, if it's going to step back from some of their worst ideas.
Interesting stuff. Thanks so much for weighing in today. We're talking to the Director of Policy with Nature Canada, Akash Maharaj. Thank you so much. We'll talk again soon if this keeps developing. I appreciate it, though.
Thank you.
We got to take a break. 6:30 News next on CFAX.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island.
Victoria Symphony presents Symphony in the Summer Festival, July 10th through August 9th. Details at victoriasymphony.ca. Catch all the excitement of summer baseball with the Victoria Harbour Cats. More info at harbourcats.com. Have an event you want featured on CFAX 1070? Text us at 71010 to be featured.
Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
It's 6:32 on Wednesday, August 5th. Good morning. It's going to be another sunny but slightly smoke hazy kind of day in Victoria. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. But right now the news begins, and here is Steve Young.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. Lloyd Robertson, the TV anchor Canadians voted most trusted year after year, passed away at the age of 92.
So that's the kind of day it's been on this.
For 11 consecutive years, TV Guide Canada readers voted Lloyd Robertson the TV journalist they trusted most, an honor he took to heart. The Stratford, Ontario native got his start in broadcasting at a local radio station in 1952 before landing with the CBC in 1954 and started in television. Robertson stayed with the public broadcaster until 1976 when he took a job with CTV and became a household name over his 35 years there while covering so much history.
Diana and Charles played their parts. What is there left to say? But thank you, thank you, thank you.
Robertson was named a member of the Order of Canada and the Canadian Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame. And in 2007, he also became the first journalist to be inducted into Canada's Walk of Fame.
And that's the kind of day it's been. I'm Lloyd Robertson.
Karen Rebo, The Canadian Press, Toronto.
A new wildfire sparked on Vancouver Island yesterday. Small blaze located just north of Gold River. The Wildfire Service says the fire is under control and not expected to grow further. The local fire department and initial attack crews responded quickly. There are now 3 active fires on the island, as those 2 blazes near Wast and the other west of Campbell River are still on the map. Across the province, there are 116 active wildfires with 8 new starts over the last 24 hours. 15 more fires were declared out. The southern half of the island will be dealing with the wildfire smoke again today. Forecasters expect it'll be lighter than yesterday, a little more noticeable on the west shore than in Victoria. Environment Canada's air quality index will stay at 3 throughout the day. That's low risk. Meanwhile, charred debris, empty foundations, burned out vehicles, and still smoldering fires are all that remain along portions of the west side of Okanagan Lake in the interior. Reporter Daryl Greer toured the lakeshore yesterday.
These piles of debris that looked like they were upon foundations that once were homes or cabins or whatever are just complete, like, piles of nothing almost, with the little smoking piles still visible in the remnants from where we were in the water.
Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominique LeBlanc is in Washington again this week.
LeBlanc is joined on the trip by Canada's chief trade negotiator, Janice Charette. Both of them were in Washington last week, meeting with U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer. But LeBlanc did not specify what they discussed. A government source says this week's trip has LeBlanc meeting with industry groups who'd like the Canada-U.S. trade agreement to be renewed, as well as various U.S. senators and members of Canada's trade negotiating team. The source also says it has not been decided yet how long LeBlanc will stay in Washington. Jason White, The Canadian Press.
View Royal receiving $85,000 in federal funding to update its Parks and Trails Master Plan. The funding comes through the Strategic Priorities Fund and BC's Build Communities Strong Fund, and will help the town develop a plan that reflects the community's growth. The updated master plan will feature investments in parks, trails, and shoreline access, with a focus on improving accessibility, protecting natural areas, and expanding recreational opportunities. The funding is part of more than $152 million in federal and provincial support for 54 projects announced last week. View Royal's Parks and Trails Master Plan is one of those projects. That's your news to 636. If you're watching us today on CTV Vancouver Island, you'll notice that the headlines and the scroll is still all of yesterday's stuff. We apologize for the technical difficulties. We're on it. We're aware and trying to make the changes. That includes, of course, with the online poll as well. So basically what we're telling you is when Lisa's not here...
Nothing works. All of the equipment took a vacation as well. That's what happened.
No Lisa, no bueno.
Oh, no. Well, there you go, Steve. Well,
I'm trying, my friend. I'm trying.
We love it that you're here. And actually, you know what's so funny? I love this. This is the second day in the row that we have had a sports guy, Steve, request.
Uh-oh.
I got another texter wants to know some sports knowledge from you.
Okay.
We have this texter saying... here, let me get the question here. Good morning. If sports guy Steve is taking questions, why wouldn't BC Place keep the natural grass instead of turf? After we had natural grass for the World Cup. Maybe we can get to that question a little later today, if that's okay with you, Steve.
I would love to tackle that because I actually asked somebody that question when I was hosting for you a couple weeks ago.
All right, well, texter. There we go. We'll get an answer for you. But we've also got a lot of folks weighing in on the Snowbirds yesterday. How was the show? Did you see it? Did you like it? And how is the traffic for you trying to get to and from it? We're going to get more into that in just a second. But right now, speaking of sports, let's get into it. So we'll start with the Victoria Shamrocks starting their playoffs last night with a bang. It was a 15-6 win over the Nanaimo Timbermen in front of a home crowd at the Q Center. In fact, nearly 2,000 fans in the stands, according to the Shamrocks. So it's a best-of-5 opening round of the playoffs. Victoria gets the 1-0 series lead after the 15-6 win, and Game 2 is tomorrow night in Nanaimo. The Victoria Harbour Cats baseball team were scheduled to be playing on the road against the Wenatchee Apple Sox yesterday, and it would have been one of the second-to-last game of their regular season, but the game got canceled because of how smoky it is there. This is, of course, in Washington State, where a number of those wildfires have been burning recently, so air quality concerns canceled that game. We'll see what happens, because the last game of the regular season was supposed to be tonight in Wenatchee. We'll see if that one goes ahead. The Vancouver Whitecaps opened up their Leagues Cup campaign with a 1-0 loss to visiting Atlanta FC yesterday. We saw the Caps struggling across much of the first half. They did improve in the second half, but couldn't quite get the ball into the back of the net. But by the way, this Leagues Cup thing, it's where several of the MLS teams and a bunch of the Liga MX, Mexican Soccer League teams, that kind of like mix and do a cup. And this is sort of the group stage of that, the opening of that. Let's go back to baseball for a second, because right-hander Jameson Taillon is scheduled to make his Toronto debut tonight as the visiting Blue Jays wrap up a 3-game series against the AL West leading Houston Astros. The Jays acquired Taillon from the Chicago Cubs before Monday's trade deadline. Yesterday, Astros beat the visiting Toronto Blue Jays 7-2. And in that loss, Jays pitcher Trey Savage left the pitch in the third inning. You call it a pitch? Field? They left the field in the third inning. He seemed like his knee buckled while he was warming up for that third inning. And for the wide world of tennis, Canada's Denis Shapovalov made an early exit from the National Bank Open tennis event after retiring from his first-round match with an ankle injury. Shapovalov won the first set in the men's singles action, but ultimately pulled out while trailing 3-0 in the third. Shapovalov says the injuries have taken a toll this season.
I might have to start making some of those tougher calls soon. Just prioritizing the body, because again, I know that if I'm healthy and I'm playing well, I'm able to produce a high level.
Shapovalov says he hopes to recover in time for the Cincinnati Open, with the main draw play beginning August 13th. That's your sports. It's 6:41. Hey, CFAX Morning Show brought to you by CUPE Vancouver Island, working to deliver the public services island communities rely on. CUPE, better services, better communities. For the traffic and weather, so the roads are looking fairly clear right now. Not much in the way of volume delays out of the West Shore, at least not yet. No crashes to speak of. We will, at 7 o'clock, have Fortis BC gas main work again on the Langford Parkway near Langford Lake Road. That is going to be a feature for a little while, actually, as that's starting up this week. Now, let's get to the weather forecast, where it's going to be smoke hazy again. Environment Canada saying that the air quality level will always stay at a low risk today. We're not actually going to get too high on their scale. They got that sort of scale where 1, 2, and 3 is like a low, and then 3, 4, and 5 is a medium, that kind of stuff. We're never leaving the low risk category of air quality, even though you might notice a bit more of that haze in the sky again today, just like you did yesterday. Other than that, it's a high of 25, humid again, high of 28, feeling in the humidity, a little cooler by the water. Clear skies tonight, other than some haze, lows down to 13. Tomorrow, sunny, a little wind, highs of 24, so cooling off a little bit. We might see that humidity still, though, keeping it feeling warmer. Sunshine for Friday, sunshine for the weekend, although temperatures by the weekend in the low 20s, and maybe the odd bit of cloud as well. So kind of moderating a little bit and staying quite lovely. Opening bells have just rung for North American stock markets, so the results of the day haven't come in yet. But yesterday, big gains for the TSX. It was up 575. The Dow was up 907. NASDAQ was up 671. So everything making jumps upwards. And the Canadian dollar was at 71.2 cents US.
In the kitchen, in the car, and at the office. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Take us with you. Listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Hey, how was the Snowbird show for you yesterday? We're having lots of people weighing in at 7-10-10. Texture says, the show was lovely, but the haze made it really hard to see the snowbirds at times. One thing I noticed was how quiet the crowd was on the beach. People clapped at the beginning and the end, but it almost felt a bit sad. Well, I wonder if that was a bit of the mood. I can't really speak for them, but, just people with some emotions seeing the snowbirds for the last time. That could have been a thing. I hear you, Texture.
Most of us grew up with the snowbirds.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're 18, you've known no other squad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, these have been the planes. I mean, since they're so old, they're from the 60s. Like, generations of Canadians have seen these very planes.
It's kind of like the Queen.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. And one of the conversations around where I was kind of a lot like that. People saying, I remember when I saw the snowbirds here, or I remember when I was growing up and, in cadets and the snowbirds would be there. And, all those kind of stories were being shared yesterday. I saw them from across the harbor at the Macaulay Point Park in Esquimalt, which is sort of the same stretch of coastline as Dallas Road, just on the other side of the harbor, with like thousands of other people who had the same idea. It was crazy how many people were there. So that was my perspective on it. And yeah, I agree with that texter. Sometimes, as they would go really far out, you'd start to lose them in the haze a bit. But as soon as they were close in, it seemed to be a pretty good visual. It didn't interfere too much. This texter says, I watched the snowbirds from the deck of my office, which was fantastic, but then it was difficult to get home in the Cook Street Village area. Lots of cars, bikes, and pedestrians. Crazy, yeah. I'm hearing that review. Just the traffic caused by this was immense.
Victoria Police had to manage a very complex situation.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw a text they sent out basically saying, we're not letting anything go until all the pedestrians are have walked back out of this area.
Yeah.
Because what else could they have done?
Yeah. Yeah, nothing. Yeah. This is probably so far this summer, this was the event of the summer as far as just everybody coming out to a thing. I don't think we've had anything else that's been this big of a draw. And the traffic sure matched.
It did.
Wow. Okay, well, keep the text coming at 7-10-10. Let me know what you thought of the show, maybe what you thought of the traffic. What was your experience? We'd love to hear from you. But we do have a texter at 7-10-10 with something different. A Sports Guy Steve request about the turf at BC Place Stadium. Steve, we're going to get you to weigh in on that coming up in just a few moments. And you've got another sports topic you wanted to talk about as well to do with...
It's burning me.
With a basketball player named Caitlin Clark. We're going to get into that next. But first, the headlines. Here's Steve.
Thank you, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. Thanks to the person that fixed the ticker. Much appreciated. Canadian broadcasting icon Lloyd Robertson has died at 92. His celebrated career began in radio in 1952 and later anchored CBC's national newscast before joining CTV, where he became chief anchor and senior editor, signing off with "That's the Kind of Day It's Been." Known for his credibility and hands-on journalism, Robertson covered defining events including the September 11th attacks and became a trusted mentor to generations of reporters. BC's emergency management minister says a provincial state of emergency is not necessary at this moment to help in the province's wildfire fight. Kelly Green says there are already multiple states of emergency in place where the fires are burning. Green says the government won't hesitate to issue a provincial state of emergency if the situation changes. Police in Victoria on the lookout after a man sprayed graffiti in a possible hate-motivated offense. Victoria Police say the vandalism happened around 4 a.m. on Sunday in the 2100 block of Vancouver Street. A photo released by police shows a man with long hair and a mustache spraying a door. Police say the case is being investigated as both mischief and a possible case of hate-motivated vandalism. Anyone with information is asked to contact investigators. That's your news headlines at 6:49.
We've got hot takes on 2 sports issues from sports guy Steve coming up next.
Developing political story, a big doozy.
Vashi Capellos.
What started as a dull day is anything but.
The top newsmakers.
Your go-to political debrief. Daily.
What is really going on?
The breaking news.
Just moments ago.
And the entertaining analysis and debate to follow.
I don't think you can sugarcoat it. It's an issue.
It's not true, guys. Yeah.
Vashi Capellos.
There is a greater plan here.
Vashi Capellos. Weekdays 9 a.m. to 11.
Bigger picture politically, which is
on CFAX 1070.
Hey, CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. Heading on a summer road trip? Well, shop at Thrifty Foods. Swipe your Scene Plus card and save up to 15 cents per liter at Shell. See in store for details. Yeah, roads are still fairly clear out there compared to yesterday's snowbird traffic jam. Things are very calm. No major delays. West Shore commute is looking lighter than usual. And at BC Ferries, no sailing waits. The 7 o'clock from Sports Bay to Swanson still has lots of room left for all the vehicles. In the weather, sunshine, but smoky, hazy conditions could be expected at times again today, kind of like yesterday. Although Environment Canada is saying the air quality index is going to stay fairly good. We'll get as high as a 3 on the scale, which is still on the low risk end of the scale. For the temperatures, the Humidex is with us again. A Humidex of 28, so feeling like 28 even though the actual temperature will hit a high of about 25 today. Cooler by the water. Clear skies tonight, still a little hazy and lows down to 13 expected. Right now, it is 13 degrees for a lot of Victoria.
Ryan and Lisa. Mornings on CFAX 1070. Remember, you have us in the palm of your hand. For listeners on the go, listen live on the free iHeartRadio app.
Talking about a lot of things today, including the snowbirds. Texter at 71010 says, "Good morning, Ryan and Steve. I went to Beacon Hill Park early made a day of it. The snowbirds themselves were epic, but I think what made the day even more memorable were all the wonderful people that I met and just chatting with throughout the day, and the ice cream from Beacon Hill Drive-In that made the day perfect. That's from Chris.
That's a very traditional day right there.
That's exactly what you want. And sometimes I think my favorite part of the day wasn't even the snowbirds. It was the excuse to get the family out. You went down by the water. You talked to friends and neighbors who you wouldn't have talked to otherwise. It just felt like an event and a social thing. Like, yeah, you get the ice cream thrown in there. Yeah, there's more to it than just the act. There's the whole vibe. What a cool day. Thank you for texting in. Keep them coming at 71010. We'll read more of your reviews of the snowbirds in just a moment. But we have something really important we got to get to now.
The windup in his first offering. Touch a ball, Joe. The golden goal.
It's Sports Guy Steve.
Oh, my goodness.
What did you say? You heard me.
Here's Sports Guy Steve. Just a bit outside.
We're going to be special. We're going to get 2 hot takes from Steve on 2 completely different topics. One is from a listener who wants to know about the turf at BC Place Stadium. We just finished the World Cup, where there was actual grass installed at BC Place, and now we've got turf back. In fact, it's new turf that's at BC Place Stadium. They got some new stuff there. But yeah, Texter wants to know, why couldn't we just keep the grass? So what's your take on that, Steve?
Part of it is because it's mostly an indoor stadium. I would have loved to see the grass stay because it looked that good. But reporters that we talked to here on CFAX a couple of weeks ago pointed out that it was already starting to turn to brown.
Is it just you can't really keep it up inside of an indoor stadium? There's not enough.
What was amazing is they had these sprinklers that would pop up. And even like when they did their water break, the sprinklers would come on and rehydrate the pitch.
Right.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But apparently the costs of that are prohibitive, and because to make it really work, you'd have to pull the similar to what they have at a couple of stadiums in the U.S., where you slide the whole thing out and have it outdoors, and then you can slide it back in for the game.
BC Place Stadium probably not built for a sliding field.
Well, we don't have room.
Where in downtown Vancouver are you going to just put the grass? Yeah, I got that.
The casino would have to come down. I don't think that casino's ever coming down.
But the what they put back in there isn't just the old turf. They've got new turf in there, right?
Yeah, and it hasn't gotten superb reviews so far.
Because it's new, it's slow, right? You're watching the soccer ball. Like I was watching a bit of that game yesterday against the League's Cup game that Vancouver hosted. And it just felt like every time they'd kick the ball, it would just die because it would hit, I guess, new turf. It's thick, and it just sort of slows the ball. So, but I gather that'll wear in.
Yeah, it's... I appreciate the opportunities that turf inspires. It just doesn't seem to cut it.
Right. Okay. Well, there you go. Hopefully that answers your question, Texter. Another topic, though, Steve, because we got another one. This has been burning in your mind for a couple of days. We've got to let it out. Tell me about Caitlin Clark, why she's been controversial, and what your take is on the whole situation.
Okay. So let's start with the fact that Caitlin Clark is in her early 20s and was thrust into the spotlight of basketball because of her ability to shoot three-pointers from ridiculous things and her on-court vision in making passes.
She's a huge WNBA star. She's one of the stars of the league, right?
And she's probably the overriding reason they have a big TV contract, they have increased viewership, and has really elevated the profile of the league because things like ESPN followed her along. The problem is, that's fine. But both the right and the left in the U.S. have decided they want Caitlin to speak out on their issues.
Oh, and they want to know whose side she's on.
Exactly, because she went to a Morgan Wallen concert and was up on stage with him while he's on the right. Well, she's a good friend of Taylor Swift's. Oh, she's on the left. She's a 27-year-old woman who wants to play basketball. She doesn't want to get into these political debates. She wants to play basketball, do State Farm commercials, produce Nike shoes, make a nice living for herself, But all aside, she wants to play basketball. So let's just let her play basketball and not try to turn her into the spokesperson, whether it's right or left, that everybody is pressing her to be, calling her names when she won't speak out about something.
Yeah, and I guess a commentator made a comment that her brain isn't fully formed after she wouldn't weigh in on transgender athletes. She's not giving an opinion either way. She doesn't want to, like you just said, and it's got everybody going crazy.
I will point to, remember when Sidney Crosby made his thing to the NHL?
Yeah.
And how much we were looking forward to that, and how they tried to get him to speak out on hockey issues. And he basically said, I'm here to play hockey.
Right.
And he got criticized for going up to the officials, and there people called him a whiner and all these things. Well, over the years, Sidney, by just stepping back and letting Sidney play hockey as the number one goal in his life, actually paid off. And now he's like a spokesperson of respect, because we have no idea about his girlfriend. We have no idea his political views. We just know that he's a nice guy and he treats people right.
Well, maybe Caitlin Clark can eventually get there too.
I'm hoping.
Okay. Weighing in on the big issues, there's sports guy Stephen. Thank you for unpacking that a bit, because I wasn't actually aware of that controversy, but it's fascinating to watch. It is a kind of a mirror to the U.S. political landscape right now as well, that, everybody's demanding to know what side you're on. Yeah.
It's a basketball player.
Yeah.
Remember when we used to tell athletes to shut up and dribble?
Yeah.
That wasn't that long ago when we said that stuff.
Well, there you go. Sports guy Steve, and he takes requests. I love it. We'll get to more of all of this in just a few moments, including your comments on the Snowbirds yesterday. How did it go for you? I got lots of people weighing in. I'd love to read more of your texts coming up. But first, we'll make room for the 7 o'clock news on CFAX 1070.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Hey, good morning. It's 7:02 on Wednesday, August 5th. Sunny again today, but a little bit of smoke haze still in the air. We'll get you a full forecast in a moment. Right now, the news begins, and here, sitting in for Lisa Best, is Steve Young.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. Lloyd Robertson, the TV news anchor Canadians often voted most trusted, has passed away at the age of 92. His family confirmed his passing last night. Robertson's celebrated career began in radio in 1952, and he soon anchored CBC's national newscast before joining CTV in 1976. He fronted CTV News until 2011, when he passed the torch to Lisa LaFlamme. Reporter Karen Rebos tells us Laflamme has expressed a heavy heart over his loss.
In a social media tribute late last night, Laflamme called Robertson a broadcast legend, a true giant, a trusted friend, and someone who helped shape both her career and her life. She described the moment he handed her the reins of the newscast. She said it was overwhelming and yet calming because he was there.
CTV's current chief anchor, Omar Shatsudina, calls Robertson an amazing man, mentor, and a great Canadian. Federal Green Party says it has 2 approved candidates for the party leadership, and the winner will be announced on November 14th. Of course, longtime leader and local MP Elizabeth May announced plans to step down last August, but has been staying in the leadership until a successor is chosen. Former Kitchener Centre MP Mike Maurice, who's throwing his hat into the ring after serving 1 term in Parliament, will look to represent the riding again in the next election. Ottawa's Nika Dukaran, the other contender for the leadership, has a 12-year history with the party as an organizer and as a candidate for both the federal and Ontario Greens. Even as the damage is being assessed from the devastating wildfire along Okanagan Lake in BC, officials are warning of the potential for more fires as dry lightning storms are in the forecast for later this week. Cliff Chapman, the Director of Wildfire Operations for the Wildfire Service, says temperatures are expected to increase to the mid-30s, while dry lightning is in the forecast for Thursday.
If it materializes, which we're continuing to monitor this essentially hourly to look for timing. We will continue to put messaging out on our social feeds as well as information bulletins on the timing of this event, but it will mean that we will see more fires across southern BC.
A new wildfire sparked on the island yesterday. The small blaze located just north of Gold River. The Wildfire Service says the fire is already under control, not expected to grow. The local fire department and initial attack crews responded quickly. London police say that a woman has been arrested after 4 people were stabbed in Covent Garden, a central area popular with visitors in London, England. The Metropolitan Police say 4 men aged 34, 39, 42, and 52 were found with stab wounds early today, and that a 47-year-old woman was arrested on suspicion of possession of an offensive weapon and assault. The injured have been taken to a major trauma center following the incident on Endell Street. No further update has been given on the extent of the injuries. And that's news to 7:05. We had technical problems with your CFAX 1070 web poll. We did try to ask a question yesterday, though, so I'm going to ask you, Ryan.
I'm here for it.
Okay. How often do you check the smoke forecast during the wildfire peak season? Every day, once in a while, or never? If you hadn't been able to vote, what would you have voted?
Well, I love that. See, given what I do, it's nearly daily. But I'd say in my personal life, it'd be once in a while. Is it Ryan at work? That's daily. If it is Ryan at home, it's once in a while.
That's pretty much what I was thinking too. But it is really important for people that have some allergies and things to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's nice that we have these tools now and we can see where the smoke's coming from and where it's going.
Yeah, and speaking of that, that's one of the features today because we've got that smoke haze. that's in the air again today, just like yesterday. And I can tell you that the Environment Canada Air Quality Index is not going to get above a 3 today, they predict, which is still in the low health risk. You know, it's more so than a 1, which is the best, but it's not out of the low risk category. So speaking of the smoke haze, that's where things are at. We'll get you a full forecast in just a moment. We'll also keep getting your reviews of the Snowbird show yesterday and the traffic that followed it. Let us know how it went for you at 7:10:10. But right now, over to the CFAX 1070 Sports. Hey, I'll start with the Vancouver Whitecaps. They opened up their League's Cup campaign with a 1-0 loss to Liga MX side Atlanta FC. The Caps have just one goal over their last 3 games, and head coach Jesse Sorensen says his players need to keep their cool when scoring opportunities arise.
Maybe a couple of players used to score more, have not scored in a while, and then you get stressed a little bit, and that's what is normal. But we know these guys, and they will definitely be banging the ball in the back of the net.
The Whitecaps will continue League's Cup play on Friday when they host FC Juarez. So that's the Whitecaps. What about locally? The Victoria Shamrocks took an early lead in their best-of-5 semi-final series with the Nanaimo Timbermen. So it was Game 1 yesterday at the Q Center. 15-6 win for the Shamrocks. Big win. Eli McLaughlin scoring 6 of those goals for Victoria. So the Shamrocks will take their 1-0 series lead into Game 2 tomorrow night in Nanaimo. For the Victoria Harbour Cats, their game was canceled yesterday. They were going to play in Washington State against the Wenatchee Apple Sox, but because of air quality issues, they canceled the game. We're just talking about how the smoke haze not so bad for air quality here in Victoria and on South Vancouver Island, but where Wenatchee is in the Washington State area, heavy fire smoke in the area had caused them to cancel yesterday's game. We'll see what happens with tonight's game, which was going to be the last game of the regular season for the Harbour Cats on the road against the Apple Sox. Toronto Blue Jays with a loss last night, 7-2 to the Houston Astros. Toronto Jays pitcher Trey Savage had to leave the game. He's going to have an MRI exam today on his left knee after he left. While warming up for the third inning, at that time a scoreless game, his knee appeared to buckle on the pitch. So they're going to check out and see what's going on with him. That's your CFAX Sports to 7:09. Hey, CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. If you're heading out on a summer road trip, you can shop at Thrifty Foods, swipe your Scene Plus card, and save up to 15 cents per liter at Shell. See you in store for details. What's going on the roads? Things are clear so far. We are not seeing much of a West Shore commute when it comes to volume or delays. At this time, things are looking great. You can let me know otherwise at 7:10:10. See a problem out there. We do appreciate the tips. The other major routes like the Malahat, Pat Bay Highway, all looking clear right now. BC Ferries, no sailing waits. There is an 8 o'clock sailing. It's about 80% full of the vehicle deck space. Still some room there from Sports Bay to Swanson. The weather forecast is going to be sunny, but some smoke haze again like yesterday. The air quality is fine. It's just looking hazy right now at this time. According to the air quality index from Environment Canada, we're at a 2 on the air quality index. So where 1 is great and 10 is bad, and above 10 is even worse, we're at a 2. So Air quality is still in the low risk category. We might get up to a 3 later today. For the temperatures today, high of 25, but feeling a little warmer and some humidity, but feeling a little cooler if you're right by the water where the onshore breeze blows. Clear skies tonight, still a little hazy, lows to 13. Tomorrow, sunny, a high of 24. Still humidity, though, making it feel warmer. Sunshine for Friday, and sun with a few clouds on the weekend, and temperatures coming down into the low 20s as a high. Or right now for the temperatures, if you are in Langford, it's 13 degrees. At the University of Victoria in Saanich, it's 16 degrees. First look at the markets. S&P TSX in Toronto starting the day up 541 to 36,342. The Dow is up 574 to 54,660. Nasdaq has also gained 80 to 26,665. Canadian dollar at 71.3 cents US, which is up just a little bit from yesterday.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070. Oversleepers, catch all the highlights on the latest audio podcast at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Yesterday's Snowbird show at Dallas was unreal, says a texter at 71010. Took the e-bike, and so did thousands of others. The waterfront was packed with bikes. Easily the coolest thing I've seen in a long time. People complain about traffic leaving town, but picture how much worse it would have been if all those bikes were cars instead. Yeah, considering we're hearing stories of bike lane traffic jams yesterday, yeah, that would have been way worse if that was just all people driving. Texter at 71010 says, watch the Snowbirds from a tall building. Brought a tear to my eye when they were leaving. The last jet wiggled his wings. Goodbye. Oh, I didn't see that. Just on the way out, a little wiggle. Oh, that is touching. I thought the heart was amazing when they drew the heart in the sky.
Yeah, it really looks good on the video, too. Like the CTV Vancouver Island video of it.
Yeah.
Nice job, guys.
Texter at 71010 says, I watched the Snowbirds from the top of the parkade at the Hillside Mall. Yeah, I guess, just getting up anywhere.
Hey, that would have been a good spot.
It's not bad. Yeah, good idea.
Because you're away from the traffic and you'd be high enough and you'd be at the right level.
Yeah. And like you said, you're just a bit away from having to fight your way out of all that.
Well, that was smart. I should have thought of that one.
Texter 71010 says, I watched from Dallas and Linden. Oh, you were right in the thick of it. They flew over us a couple of times, and it was quite a great show, especially when they made the big heart. What talented pilots they are. That's a great text. This texter 71010. Let's see, I'm going down. Got to find the other one. Good morning. Where is it? I'm losing my text messages. Oh, yeah. We already read this one, but texter saying, I watched the Snowbirds from the deck of my office. It was fantastic, except difficult getting home in Cook Street Village area. Lots of cars, bikes, and pedestrians. Yeah, that was the remarkable thing was, 30,000 people or so all flooding into one part of Victoria and then trying to get out of it. It really was part of the spectacle, was just seeing all of these people come and go. Thank you so much for letting us know how it went for you. I would love your review. I saw it, Steve, from the Esquimalt side of things, and I was saying this last hour, but I'll say it again. I was amazed at how many people decided to do that. It seemed like thousands of people decided that I'm not going to try to fight my way down to the Dallas Road waterfront in Victoria. Instead, I'll go to the Esquimalt waterfront, which isn't very far away. And the neighborhoods were clogged with cars as people parked throughout the neighborhoods down kind of in the Sax Point area of Esquimalt or kind of in towards the Work Point area of the base. Those areas were just filled with people who all went down to around about Macaulay Park, which is just on the other side of the harbor. Tons of people there seeing it. It was a pretty good view. I mean, it would have been better if you were right on Dallas because, of course, then they're flying right over you. So we didn't have that experience, but still great sight lines. It was a great view. And also you can see the cruise ship at Ogden Point, which is right in front of you there. What a view they would have had if anybody was on that cruise ship. It was parked right, front row center.
You could see all the boats that were strategically placed along the strait. Yeah, that was incredible. By the way, all this is reminding me of a great air show story.
Okay, tell me.
Okay, so this is the Snowbirds. So one of my radio stops, as I mentioned yesterday, was in Trenton, where they had CFB Trenton had an international air show every year.
Right.
And, of course, local radio station, we covered it just like Josh and Jay did yesterday, whole 9 yards. We did stuff on, and we had to do traffic because all these people were coming into Trenton, which is about 15,000 people at the time, and it really wasn't built to handle like 30,000 coming in a day. So we had to be improvised. So we didn't have a helicopter or anything like that, of course. So I went up to the highest point in Trenton.
Now, I'm imagining Ontario. Highest point is a little different than ours,
Yeah,
okay?
it might have been 500 feet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And where the water tower's right beside it, that kind of thing at the top. And so I'm doing traffic, and I want to make it sound realistic. So I do this traffic right now.
Oh, you're doing the helicopter.
Doing the helicopter with my chest.
You doing one of those?
Yes.
Yeah, amazing.
That's what makes radio the best medium ever.
Oh, I love it. That's a great story. Tell us your snowbird story at 7:10. Right now to the headlines at 7:18. What's going on, Steve?
Well, the search continues for a 25-year-old man who went missing near Albert Edward in Strathcona Park after being separated from his group yesterday afternoon. Search teams from across Vancouver Island and the Lower Mainland are continuing their efforts today. New wildfire sparked on the island yesterday. Small blaze located just north of Gold River. Wildfire Service says the fire is already under control, not expected to grow. Local fire department and initial tech crews made quick work of it yesterday. Southern half of the island dealing with wildfire smoke again today. Forecasters say it'll be lighter than yesterday and a little more noticeable on the west shore than it is in Victoria. Environment Canada's Air Quality Index will stay at 3 throughout the day, or low risk. And that's your news headlines at 7:19.
Thank you, Steve. Well, if we're talking about looking up at the sky to watch the snowbirds, I got something else in the sky to watch. There's going to be a star party. The Island Star Party set to take place on the grounds of St. Stephen's Anglican Church in Saanich this Friday and Saturday nights. We're going to learn more about that coming up in just a moment. Also, your traffic and weather updated as well. Let us know if you see anything on the roads causing trouble, and we will continue to read your texts about the snowbirds, too. So much happening. This texter says, we watched from Albert Head Lagoon. That's a whole different area. They did do a fly past from a distance. The haze was an issue, but when the sun caught that iconic red and white, it was amazing. They will be missed. And this texter says, we walked down to Gonzales Hill. It was a great view and show. Loved it. Thank you so much for letting us know. Keep those texts coming at 7:10.
Home Show with Tony Joe.
Everyone wants to know about real estate. Is the market going up or down? Time to buy or sell? How can government programs and policies affect you? Hear from local experts on topics like appraisal, inspection, investment, and others on how to maximize your real estate sale.
Providing info on everything you needed to know about real estate. The Whole Home Show with Tony Joe. Saturdays at noon on CFAX 1070.
CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Bluebird Cabs. If you need a cab, download the new Bluebird Cabs app at Bluebird Cabs Ltd. They're proudly local and Canadian-owned and run since 1946. On the roads, it's still pretty clear. No major issues on any of our major routes. Pat Bay Highway, you're good. Malahat, you're good. West Shore commute is lighter than usual. Still the slowdown on the Trans-Canada Highway through the bus lane widening area, but otherwise we're looking lighter than usual when it comes to a West Shore commute traffic volume level. The weather today is interesting because we've got that smoke haze back in the air, but it's not going to cause too much of an air quality issue. The Environment Canada Air Quality Index is forecast to stay at a 3, which is in the low risk range. Their air quality index goes from 1, which is the best, to 10 plus, which is the worst. And we're at a 3, kind of at the lower end of the scale. For the rest of the weather forecast, high of 25, feeling a little warmer and some humidity. Tonight, clear skies other than the smoke haze, and lows down to 13 degrees. We might see the wind pick up a little bit overnight tonight and into tomorrow as well.
Ryan and Lisa are ready when you are.
Good morning.
Day or night, find the highlights under latest audio at CFAX1070.com and on the free iHeartRadio app.
Great time to check out the stars. There is the Island Star Party set to take place on the grounds of St. Stephen's Anglican Church in Saanich this Friday and Saturday night. The Victoria Centre of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada says it's the spot to be for anybody who wants to gaze upon celestial objects, with free drop-ins for the astronomy curious and by donation campouts for the hardcore stargazers. What's going on here? So I've got none other than Randy Enkin on the line. He's past president of the Victoria Centre for the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. Randy, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing very well. You just gave me a new term, the astronomy curious. That's perfect. That's who we are.
Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like you've got the hardcore enthusiast, but who doesn't at some point in their life look up at the stars and wonder? And that's the kind of person you want to tap into here, I'm assuming, as well as the hardcores.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay. So, yeah, this is the thing. People have been looking up at the sky forever and everywhere in the world. And it's this fascination that just never goes away. And, I got the bug when I was 8. And I think a lot of people, it's when they're kids and they see somebody with a telescope and they look up at for me, it was the Hercules cluster, a globular cluster up there. And I thought, wow, that's cool. This sort of thing can really change a life.
Wow. Okay. So, Star Party, come on down if you're curious. What do you need to know about it? First off, I guess we should tell people where and when. I mentioned St. Stephen's Church in Saanich Friday, Saturday, but what are the times to show up more so? I guess the evening's got to be a big part of this, but when do things really kick off?
Well, yeah, we will have people setting up tents and telescopes, and everybody is welcome to come after 4 o'clock, but the evening program starts at 7. So get there a bit before 7, and we've got door prizes, including a really good telescope. And then, there'll be some talk about what we do through the year at the Victoria Centre of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. But then at 7:30 on Saturday, we have Professor Deborah Lockhurst, who is going to talk about this amazing telescope that she is the principal investigator of. It's down in Chile. The precursor was called Dragonfly because it was something like 60 of these commercial, lenses, camera lenses, but they're high-quality ones. The new one is a collection of over 1,000 of these lenses, all pointing at the same point of the sky at the same time. Absolutely remarkable, beautiful also. And then on Saturday at 7:30, we have the director of the Dominion Astrophysical Observatory. That's James DiFrancesco. And he's going to talk about these 30-meter telescopes that are being built in Chile and Hawaii. And he's going to talk about what new frontiers of astronomy are coming up. So really good. And then we do things like a telescope tour. We'll have lots of people out there with little to very big telescopes. and everybody is very generous in the club. So you don't have to bring a telescope. Just come, and we'll show you what sort of things you look for if you're looking at buying a telescope. And once it gets a bit dark, around 10, then there'll be a tour of the skies, and then wander around and take a look at people's telescopes. Everybody will be pointing at things, and it's great. And a lot of us camp overnight, and it's happening in the 2 nights. So Friday to Saturday and Saturday to Sunday. Nothing much happens during the day. We mostly sleep.
Well, I guess if you're going to stay up late watching the stars, you gotta get your sleep somewhere. And so you can bring a tent.
I'm a moon person, so I have to wait until I think after midnight, or is it 1 o'clock for the moon to come up?
Really? Okay. So you gotta sleep during the day in a tent. You're allowed to bring a tent and camp for free. Is that true?
Yep. That's on the churchyard.
Now, what? We're almost out of time, but again, real quick. Star Party. If you're interested, this is again St. Stephen's Church in Saanich is where it's happening. It's Friday and Saturdays we've established. But last question for you on this: what kind of stuff is up there right now? Like you mentioned, the moon. You got to wait a little longer for where the Earth is pointing right now, and at this hemisphere and all that sort of stuff. What are we looking at right now in the sky?
So right now, the planets and the moon are not that great in the evening, so it's mostly looking at what's called the deep space objects. So the globular clusters, the galaxies. It's the reason that we did it this weekend is because there is no moon out in the evening. And while I like the moon, all my other colleagues, they like what I call the little white fuzzies. But there's so much to look up, and I just also like learning the constellations.
Well, I hope
to know how they're arranged up there.
I hope there's some good little white fuzzies this weekend. That sounds great. Well, hey, Randy Ankin.
Astronomy curious.
Randy Ankin for the Astronomy Curious. Join him and a bunch of others at the Island Star Party this weekend. Thank you so much for talking to us, and good luck.
Thank you so much.
We'll take a break. We got the 7:30 news next on CFAX 1070, and also we'll read more of your texts, your thoughts on seeing the snowbirds overhead last night.
Where the noise stops and the conversation begins.
Hey, it's Friday. Welcome to the Graham Richardson Show.
The stories that shaped your week aren't just headlines. They are the moments we live through and the decisions that change what comes next.
Let's take a closer look at that together.
It's national conversations. From major policy shifts to the fun, unexpected trends and friends everyone will be talking about. It is intelligent, unpredictable, and completely Canadian. Stay informed. Stay ahead. The Graham Richardson Show. Friday morning at 9 a.m. right here on CFAX 1070. CFAX Victoria,
an iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning, 7:31 on this Wednesday, August the 5th. Sunny day today, a little smoke haze back in the air just like yesterday. Full forecast in a moment. Right now the news begins, and sitting in for Lisa Best, here is Steve Young.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. Lloyd Robertson, the TV news anchor Canadians voted most trusted year after year, has passed away at the age of 92.
So that's the kind of day it's been on this.
For 11 consecutive years, TV Guide Canada readers voted Lloyd Robertson the TV journalist they trusted most. The Stratford, Ontario native got his start in broadcasting at a local radio station in 1952 before landing with the CBC in 1954. Robertson stayed with the public broadcaster until 1976 when he took a job with CTV and became a household name over his 35 years there.
Diana and Charles played their parts. What is there left to say but thank you?
Robertson was named a member of the Order of Canada and the Canadian Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame.
And that's the kind of day it's been. I'm Lloyd Robertson.
Karen Rebo, The Canadian Press, Toronto.
Search continues for a 25-year-old man who went missing near Albert Edward in Strathcona Park after becoming separated from his group yesterday afternoon. Search teams from across the island and the Lower Mainland are continuing their efforts today. The Director of Wildfire Operations for the Provincial Wildfire Service says BC's entering another significant drying trend, raising the risk of more wildfires over the next few days. Cliff Chapman says parts of southern BC will see temperatures in the low to mid-30s and dry lightning is possible starting Thursday.
We're continuing to monitor this essentially hourly to look for timing. We will continue to put messaging out on our social feeds as well as information bulletins on the timing of this event, but it will mean that we will see more fires across southern BC. The exact location of those fires is not predictable right now, but as we start to track that system, we will do everything we can to get information out.
A new wildfire sparked on the island yesterday. That small blaze located just north of Gold River. The Wildfire Service says the fire's already under control, not expected to grow further. The local fire department, along with initial attack crews, responded quickly yesterday. Outside Spokane, some families are starting to return home after the devastating wildfires there destroyed more than 700 structures over the weekend.
Some of the evacuation orders are beginning to be lifted or reduced, and so many families are coming home to just everything gone, and they've got to make decisions. What are they going to do? Are they going to rebuild and stay here? Or are they going to go somewhere else, take the insurance money, sell the land, and go?
As President Trump says he believes talks with Iran are going very well. Things remain tense surrounding the Strait of Hormuz, though. Here's Matt Rivers in Jordan.
No word yet from Iranian leadership yet, but Iran has said repeatedly it would not agree to any deal that returns the strait to that open, unrestricted, toll-free way it operated before this war began. Meanwhile, things remain very tense in both the Strait of Hormuz and the nearby Red Sea. Overnight, Houthi rebels in Yemen saying they fired missiles at a Saudi tanker in the Red Sea after we saw 2 more ships targeted on Tuesday.
And that's your news to 7:35. Today's CFAX 1070 News Poll, we had some technical problems, so the old one stayed up. And the question was, would you start using BC Transit or use it more often as service and routes improved? Just 23% say I'd take it more often. 9% say they'd start taking the bus. 68% not interested in taking transit. That's your whole update.
We're just gathering more data. Larger sample size. So many silver linings. Always.
I love the way you look at things. You never go for the downside. You go for the side, and that's why we love you.
Well,
that and the hair.
And why, thank you. I feel like it needs a trim, though, right now.
No, you look solid.
Okay. Yeah.
If you're watching on TV today, does Ryan's hair look solid? That's now the CFAX 1070 news poll.
Oh, dear. Why, thank you, Steve. Hey, sunshine, a little smoke haze in the sky again today. We'll get you a full forecast in just a second. We'll also read more of your snowbird texts. Yeah, what a great show that was. What a great traffic jam that was trying to get out of anywhere along the coast yesterday afterwards. But we'll talk more about that and read your text at 7:10 in just a moment. But we got to the sports where we saw the Vancouver Whitecaps opening up their League Cup campaign with a 1-0 loss to Liga MX side Atlanta FC. The Caps, by the way, just have one goal over the last 3 games, and head coach Jesper Sorensen says his players need to keep their cool when scoring opportunities arise.
Maybe a couple of players used to score more, have not scored in a while, and then you get stressed a little bit, and that's what is normal. But we know these guys, and they will definitely be banging the ball in the back of the net.
The Whitecaps will continue Leagues Cup play on Friday when they host FC Juarez. For the Victoria Shamrocks, they took an early lead in the opening round of the playoffs. It's a best-of-5 semifinal series against the Nanaimo Timbermen, and in Game 1 yesterday, 15-6 win for the Shamrocks. 6 of those goals coming from Eli McLaughlin. We also hear from the team that there were almost 2,000 people jammed into the Q Center to watch that opening round of the playoffs. The Shamrocks will go into Game 2 in Nanaimo tomorrow with that 1-0 series lead. Victoria Harbour Cats were not in action last night as scheduled. That's because of air quality concerns. The Wenatchee Apple Sox in Washington State had to cancel last night's game. We'll see what happens tonight. And the Toronto Blue Jays were had a 7-2 loss to the Houston Astros yesterday. Those two teams go at it again today with right-hander Jameson Taillon scheduled to make his Toronto debut when they hit the field. He was acquired by the Jays from the Chicago Cubs just before Monday's trade deadline. That's your sports to 7:39. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps, designed for comfort. South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. On the roads, things are looking fairly smooth right now. No crashes or accidents, and the volume delays from the West Shore into the core area of Victoria and beyond looking lighter than usual still. It's been a fairly easy day. No waits at BC Ferries either. Let's talk about the weather, where we've got a bit of smoke haze back in, although Air Canada is saying the air quality should stay fairly good. We'll be at a 3 on the scale of 1 to 10 plus, and 1 to 3 is their, low risk air quality range. So we're still going to be there, even though we're slightly higher than sometimes. We like being at a 1 in Victoria often for our air quality. We have great quality. Just those ocean breezes bring a nice air in. So we're a little higher than usual, but still in a low-risk category. That's, I think, the short story. Other than the haze, it's sunny, and we'll see a high of 25, a humidex of 28. Clear skies tonight, lows to 13. Tomorrow, sunny again, highs of 24, humidex of 28. Sunshine for Friday, highs of 24. Saturday and Sunday, sunny with a few clouds here and there, and temperatures staying in that kind of low 20s range. Right now for the temperatures, we're starting to warm up into the day. In downtown Victoria, it's 15 degrees. In Langford, it's 13. On the markets, S&P TSX in Toronto up 588 to 36,390. The Dow is up 596 to 54,682. NASDAQ up 70 to 26,655. Canadian dollar at 71.3 cents US, which is up from yesterday.
Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
By the way, I got to remind everybody that we're giving away Rush tickets all this week on the show. We're going to do it today just after the 8 o'clock news, sports, weather, traffic, business news, all that stuff. Because Rush is bringing their 50-something tour to the Rogers Arena in Vancouver on both December 15th and December 17th. We've got tickets to the December 15th show. But we're not just giving them away. We're making you work for it. We are, just after the 8 o'clock news, going to be rushing through a Rush song. We're going to play a Rush song at a fast, sped-up speed to throw you off. And you still got to tell us what the song is. If you can correctly identify the song title, you'll get the tickets, a pair of tickets to go see the show. So give us a call if you want to try to be a contestant. We'll take a random caller just after 8, and we will play another round of rushing through a Rush song. But we're also hearing your reviews of the Snowbirds last night. I got a bunch of text messages here. Steve, one texter says, imagine this in the early 2030s. New Snowbirds screaming over Dallas Road, and a couple of Canadian brand new submarines are parked right offshore. Absolute goosebumps, says the texter. I really hope there are some other reasons to throw big festivals like what we saw down at the Dallas Road waterfront. Yeah, what a cool spectacle that was, and hopefully we see more of that kind of stuff. Texter at 71010 says, I watched from Dallas and Bushby with some friends, took some photos, loved the heart sign. The Snowbirds are super. I'm sad it was their last time for a while. It took me an hour to get to the Hillside Mall afterwards. Oh, this texter says, good morning. I parked in the old Bay Center Parkade, walked to Dallas Road, made some new friends with a couple of gals from Wisconsin who were absolutely thrilled to be able to catch the show. We got front row seats on a log on the beach. Amazing show. Loved it. And got my steps in, too. Yeah, if people walked in, that was the way to do it, I think, because you kind of missed not just the traffic jam for the cars, but the bike lane jam that we hear was a thing with all the cyclists. And this texter says, I was also at the Dallas Road waterfront watching the Snowbirds. I was really happy at the end of the show to be on Dallas as part of the tens of thousands of people walking up the street like a human parade. I thought it was a very special moment as well. That's actually kind of cool that, yes, the traffic jam was a lot, but I think just sort of being in that collection of everybody getting there and leaving together, you could also look at it that way. Like, this was just a big moment to be a part of. And the big human parade being a part of that, that's a great way to think about it. That's cool.
And all the things that downtown Victoria has in terms of little shops that, pastries and coffee, they must have done really well with people walking up and down, right? Like,
might as well grab a drink while I'm walking around. Yeah.
I so would have been in for a cherry Danish.
Well, hey, when you're making all those steps, you've earned a treat.
Right?
Texter at 71010 says, good morning. We were down on Dallas Road to watch the Snowbirds. Having been at the Aviation Museum to meet the pilots, made the show last night even more amazing. Definitely brought me to tears as they flew off. I'm hearing a lot of that from our texters. And even one texter mentioned he thought it seemed like partially somber. Like, it was a lot of people clapping and cheering for the Snowbirds, but also a lot of just sort of quiet reflection was happening. Well, at least where there was the one texture was. This texture says it was a frustrating 35 minutes to drive southbound from Bay Street to Fairfield Street. I then decided instead to turn around to go northbound and watch from the parking lot at the Save On Foods Memorial Center Arena. This provided a quicker exit to the West Shore to attend the Victoria Shamrocks playoff game at 6:30.
There you go.
There's some priorities. I love it. Great. I'm so glad people are weighing in on their experiences last night, because what a cool moment that was for Victoria yesterday. If you're anywhere near it, you just kind of got the vibe. It was a big moment. This texter says there was a cycling traffic jam on Government Street in the James Bay area. There were cars parked in the bike lanes as well. Yeah, we're hearing a lot about that. The bike lane traffic jams are kind of a funny part of yesterday's experience. What else is going on? Well, Steve's got your headlines at 7:46. Take it away, Steve.
Thank you, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. Bell Media calling Lloyd Robertson a trusted and beloved broadcaster who left his mark on Canadian journalism. Vice President of News Richard Gray says Robertson became a reassuring voice while reporting on some of the biggest events happening across Canada and around the world. Robertson was an anchor at CTV for 35 years, winning many awards, including an Order of Canada, and was the first journalist inducted into Canada's Walk of Fame. He described covering the terrorist attacks of September 11th and its aftermath among the most difficult stories he had to work on. Robertson's family confirmed the veteran broadcaster died yesterday at the age of 92. Protesters are sleeping on a road to stop BC from logging a rare growth rainforest. Bill Jones, a First Nations elder, says he's watched the forest on his nation's territory disappear for most of his adult life and wants to save what he can. The province says it's deferred or protected 2.4 million hectares of old growth since 2021, but critics say most of those measures are temporary and some deferred areas continue to be logged. An estimated 20% of Vancouver Island's productive old growth forests remain. Most of those are open to logging. And Canada Goose Holdings says it sold footwear brand Baffin to a manufacturer of work and military footwear. It says it sold Baffin to simplify its operating model and focus resources on opportunities most likely to drive long-term profitable growth. The company did not release the value or terms of a deal it signed with Royer. And that's your news headlines to 7:48.
Well, one of the other big stories yesterday for the Victoria area was news about Point Ellis House, this historic house right near the Bay Street Bridge. Well, the province has confirmed that it'll cease operations as a public heritage designation, though the province will assume control over the site in early September to preserve its artifacts. This change comes after the site changed operators several times since 2002. Most recently, the Métis Nation of BC have they been running it? Before that, it was the Vancouver Island History Society. That society's president is going to join us in a few moments for reaction on the situation and trying to unpack what this all means for Point Ellis House. That's next.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island.
Celebrate our coast at Cadboro Bay Festival, Sunday, August 9th from 11 to 3 p.m. Victoria Symphony presents Symphony in the Summer Festival, July 10th through August 9th. Details at victoriasymphony.ca. Have an event you want featured on CFAX 1070? Text us at 71010 to be featured.
Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. It has been a fairly easy day. No crashes, accidents, or major problems on our local routes. If you see otherwise, text me at 71010. But so far, smooth sailing. I will point out that there will be obstructions kind of starting this week and then lasting for a little while afterwards on Langford Parkway near about Langford Lake Road. This is Fortis BC gas main work that they're doing there. So obstructions will be there from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. For the weather forecast, a little smoke haze back in the air, but it's not making the air quality much worse. We're going to be at a 3 on the scale of 1 to 10, which is in the low-risk category still. It's a little higher than we might typically be in Victoria, but not to any concerning level. You might just see it out there, too, that smoke haze. Maybe you'll smell it at times. Highs of 25 otherwise in the sun with a humidex of 28. Clear skies tonight, lows to 13. Right now, at the Victoria International Airport, it's 13 degrees.
The best way to start an island morning. Ryan and Lisa on CFAX 1070.
Well, big news to do with the historic site Point Ellis House in Victoria, as the province says it's taking over the site and reviewing options for reopening. Here to talk more about this is Kelly Black. He's president of the Vancouver Island Local History Society. And, once upon a time, he was involved in running Point Ellis House. And he's joining us on the line right now for a reaction to this news. Kelly Black, great to get you here. How you doing?
I'm good. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and just before we get into your reaction, let's place you again in the story, because I think the last time I talked to you, actually, you were the guy, or there with the group that was running Point Ellis House before this current group, the Métis Society. Talk about your time there.
Yeah, I was the director there from 2018 to 2023, and it was a bit tough during the height of the pandemic precautions when we were open. So we were closed to the public for a while, but we had a great time. And unfortunately, we had to end it in 2023 due to a lack of sustainable funding from the province of BC.
Which seems to be the ongoing challenge here. Ever since 2002, it just seems like this string of stories that sound the same. There's just not enough funding being put into this thing to make it work, and it doesn't matter who's operating it. It just keeps being the same story. And is that what we're seeing here again today? Because we heard from the province yesterday that they're going to step in and take it over after the current group, I guess, wasn't able to make it financially go. Or what do you make of this news?
Well, I don't exactly know the reason that the Métis Nation of BC has ended its contract to run the site. The province and the Métis Nation are being very tight-lipped about the reasons. But, if it was a financial success, I doubt that they would be closing it down. And you're right, this is part of a long trajectory that provincial heritage sites have been, undergoing since 2002, when the Campbell BC Liberal government basically devolved away the management of its provincially owned heritage sites to private operators, not-for-profits. But when they did that, they also significantly reduced the budgets, and those budgets have just been cut and cut and cut. And as we all know, the costs of things go up and up and up. And that means that it just gets harder and harder to present the province's past to people at places like Point Ellis House. When I was the director, I used to point out to people that in 2007, the province commissioned a report for all its heritage sites saying, what does it take to sustainably run these places? And in 2007, almost 20 years ago, the report said Point Ellis House needed $236,000 annually in order to just pay for the regular bills like hydro and maintenance and a few staff. So that was 20 years ago. And when we stopped operating the site, the province refused to provide more than $110,000 annually, which meant that it's just not feasible.
Yeah. And it's a shame, because this is a really unique spot, and we'll remind everybody about it. People might be familiar with it, but maybe aren't fully familiar with how cool this is. Point Ellis House is not just this old 19th century structure. It was, the original owners who were in there living in it, kind of all of the furniture, all of the stuff, all of the receipts for everything they bought kind of came with the house. So you have this really well documented sense of life in the 1800s Victoria, right down to all of the paperwork and all of the Christmas decorations you'd bring out at Christmas were just their Christmas decorations. Talk about how special this place is.
Oh, it's incredibly special. That's why it became a provincial heritage site in 1975. That's why the NDP government under Dave Barrett purchased it, because it is so special. As you say, it's got, tens of thousands of objects that are original to the house. I used to tell people we had a family Bible from 1775 and a hydro receipt from 1975 and everything in between. but not just the collection of objects that need to be cared for, also the house built in 1861-62, which needs to be cared for, also almost 2 acres of heritage-designated gardens, which are very special, plus the longest remaining natural shoreline on the Gorge Waterway. This is a hugely special place for natural history, for our cultural history here in British Columbia, and there's a lot that we can learn at Point Ellis House about our past, about our present, and it just continues to be a shame that, you know, this situation of the closure, yet again, is just another, it points to the province's failure to adequately fund the operations of its provincially owned heritage sites.
Now, we know the province is sort of taking control of it, and the future beyond that is a little uncertain. What do you hope happens next?
Well, I mean, the province taking control, as far as I understand it, that means it's closed because the province does not have staff to operate a provincial heritage site. The heritage branch is a very small group of staff, and they do what they can, but they're not going to be opening the doors to people and interpreting it as we used to do with staff and volunteers. What I hope happens is that the government of British Columbia finally wakes up and realizes that if it wants to make these provincially owned heritage sites accessible and compelling to people and to visitors, to the visitor economy, then it needs to spend a little bit of money to fund the operations. And that means paying staff to welcome people, to train up volunteers and greet people and tell them about the past. The province just spent almost $800 million on 7 soccer games. So I don't think this is a question of not being able to find, you know, $250,000 to make Point Ellis House sustainable and open to the public. I think this is a question of priorities, and the province has said heritage sites owned by the people of British Columbia are not a priority.
We're talking to Kelly Black, currently president of the Vancouver Island Local History Society. But as we've been hearing, you know, obviously he was intimately involved with running Point Ellis House for a few years, weighing in on the news that the province is taking over the site, reviewing options for reopening somewhere down the road. But that's the latest news there. Thank you so much for weighing in and giving us your perspective.
Thanks for having me on the show.
All right. Well, we'll take a break, but I'm sure there'll be more to that story as we try to figure out what happens to this, historically significant site in Victoria. What's next? We'll keep you informed as we learn more. Right now, we'll take a break. 8 o'clock news coming up, and then we're going to play Rushing Through a Rush song. Can you identify the sped-up Rush song that we're about to play? Because if you can, you'll win tickets to go see Rush in Vancouver in December. That's coming up.
CFAX Victoria.
An iHeart radio station. If it's happening,
It's here.
CFAX 1070.
Good morning. It is 8:01 on Wednesday, August the 5th. Sunshine with a little smoke haze. That's the forecast for today. Full details coming up in a moment. Right now, the news begins, and sitting in for Lisa Best, here is Steve Young.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. Lloyd Robertson, the CTV News former lead anchor for more than 3 decades, has died at age 92. Robertson is one of Canada's most recognizable names in journalism, having covered historic moments such as the Quebec referendum and more than a dozen federal elections. In September of 2011, Robertson signed off for the final time, thanking viewers and fans for their unrelenting support. Here's a clip as heard on the CTV National News broadcast.
Thank you 1,000 times over for all of your touching messages, some that speak of watching through the generations. There is the woman from Ontario who tells me that as a student, our familiar opening music would take her from studying at 11 o'clock to join with her parents for the newscast and discuss the events of the day. She now does the same with her own children. Without her and people like her, I would not have been around for so very long.
Robertson got his start in broadcasting in 1952 in his hometown of Stratford, Ontario, at a local radio station. In 1954, he landed a spot with the CBC and turned to TV work, where he would stay and become a household name. BC's emergency management minister says a provincial state of emergency isn't necessary at this time to help in the province's wildfire fight. Kelly Green says there are already multiple local states of emergency in place where the fires are burning.
Provincial state of emergency, those tools are not needed right now. Tools such as restricting travel and rationing supplies like fuel or accommodations, commandeering accommodations, those tools aren't needed right now.
Green says the government won't hesitate to issue a provincial state of emergency if the situation changes. By the way, a new wildfire on the island yesterday, just north of Gold River. It's already under control, not expected to grow. The southern half of the island will be dealing with smoke again today, though. Forecasters say it'll be lighter than yesterday, a little more noticeable on the west shore than in Victoria. Environment Canada's air quality index will stay at 3 throughout the day. That's low risk. Protesters are sleeping on a road to stop BC from logging a rare old-growth rainforest here on Vancouver Island. Elder Bill Jones from a First Nations in the Port Renfrew area says he's watched forest on his nation's territory disappear for most of his adult life and wants to save what he can. The province says it's deferred or protected 2.4 million hectares of old growth since 2021, but critics say most of those measures are temporary and some deferred areas continue to be logged. An estimated 20% of the island's productive old growth forests remain. Most of those are open to logging. Vic PD asking for the public's help after a suspected hate-motivated act of mischief. Investigators are trying to identify a man believed to be responsible for graffiti in the 2100 block of Vancouver Street around 4 a.m. on August 2nd. The individual's described as white, approximately 6 feet tall, with long dark hair, a dark mustache, and a tattoo on his left hand. Anyone with information or video from the area is asked to contact the ECOM support desk. View Royal receiving $85,000 in federal funding to update its Parks and Trails Master Plan. That funding comes through the Strategic Priorities Fund and BC's Build Communities Strong Fund and will help the town develop a plan that reflects its growth. And today, we celebrate something your mother told you never to leave the house without: a clean pair of.
Today is National Underwear Day. We raise up the 1/4 yard of fabric that offers a barrier between you and your clothes. A YouGov poll says only about 7% of us go commando on a regular basis. According to Hanes Underwear, the average person has about 15 pairs, 4 for special occasions. And while there's no expiration date on when to toss and replace, it should be done before a waistband blowout. I'm Bree Tennis.
Special occasion underwear?
I was just thinking that. What is this special occasion underwear? Is that the ones that's just not quite as threadbare in case for some reason it's going to be visible?
I don't have special occasion. Sorry. I'd love to have, but it's just not part of the budget. 15 pairs is a lot, seems to me.
You got to make it through a couple, wash cycles.
That's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Don't you do the laundry every week?
Well, yeah, but every once in a while. What if you're away for the weekend, you miss laundry day? It's good to I like having the comfort of knowing I at least have that, extra few days to get me there.
Okay. That's your news to 8:06. The Gremlins played with our CFAX 1070 news poll that started yesterday, which was, how often do you check the smoke forecast during wildfire peak season? Every day, once in a while, or never? Theoretically, you could have voted now at CFAX1070.com or on the iHeartRadio app, but we couldn't get it to work. Because Lisa's not here. Lisa is the master.
We miss you, Lisa.
Yes, we do. And I'm sure the listeners and viewers do as well. I'm no Lisa.
We do appreciate Sports Guy Steve, though. And so do our listeners. That 71010 texter says, okay, Ryan and Steve, think back to date nights when you talk about special occasion underwear. Okay, I gotcha. I guess that's true. I guess I've been married too long. That's my problem. That's from Sue at 71010. Thank you very much for texting in. Hey, weather-wise, we're looking at a day that's going to be sunny with a bit of smoke haze in the air. We'll tell you all about it in weather in just a few moments. We're also going to play Rushing Through a Rush song. Do you want to win Rush tickets? Well, you got to get ready to call 250-386-1161 in just a moment. Over to the sports, though. We'll start with the Victoria Shamrocks taking an early lead in their best of 5 semifinal series, running away from the Nanaimo Timbermen 15-6 in front of nearly 2,000 fans at the Q Center last night. Eli McLaughlin scoring 6 goals. Shamrocks will now take that 1-0 series lead into Game 2, which is tomorrow in Nanaimo. No action for the Victoria Harbour Cats last night. They were supposed to play against the Wenatchee Apple Sox on the road in Washington State, but the smoke in that state has been so bad they canceled the game because of air quality issues. Right-hander Jameson Taillon is scheduled to make his Toronto debut today when the visiting Blue Jays wrap up a 3-game series against the AL West leading Houston Astros. The Jays lost to the Astros 7-2 last night. Vancouver Whitecaps opened up their Leagues Cup campaign with a 1-0 loss to visiting Atlanta FC. This is the Leagues Cup where you get the Mexican Liga MX teams and the Major League Soccer teams mixing up for a cup championship. The Whitecaps will play their next game on Friday. And that's your sports to 809. Yeah, get ready to call 250-386-1161. We're going to take a random caller in just a moment. Play them a sped-up Rush song. If they guess the name of the song, I guess not guess, if they just know the name of the song, they're going to get tickets to see Rush coming to Vancouver in December. CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. By the way, the whole morning show brought to you by Thrifty Foods. If you're heading on a summer road trip, shop at Thrifty Foods, swipe your Scene Plus card, and save up to 15 cents per liter at Shell. See you in store for details. Still no major incidents on our roads. We got gas main work, which is happening on Langford Parkway near Langford Lake Road. That'll be slowing things up for a little while. It started this week, but it's going to be taking them a bit of time to get that finished. Watch out for occasional delays and obstructions. Everything else is looking fairly clear. If you see otherwise, text me at 71010. No waits at BC Ferries right now, at least, with the 9 o'clock sailing coming up with room left for vehicles. And for the weather, sunny today with some smoky haze in the air again. A humidex of 28, so it's going to feel like 28 degrees, otherwise a high of 25. That's your day today. Clear skies other than a bit of smoke haze for tonight, lows to 13. Tomorrow, sunshine. Temperatures are about the same. Tomorrow actually looks very much like today. Friday, sunny, highs of 24. Saturday, sunny, highs of 23. Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud, highs of 24. So that is your look ahead into the long-range forecast. And right now, in downtown Victoria, the temperature is 16 degrees. On the markets, S&P TSX up 543 points at this hour to 36,345. The Dow is up 531 to 54,617. The Nasdaq is up 1 to 26,586. And the Canadian dollar at 71.4 cents US, making some gains today.
Let's get started.
Start your day informed and entertained. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Rush, Canada's big old rock band, bringing their 50-something tour to Rogers Arena in Vancouver on December 15th and 17th. Tickets are on sale now, but I got tickets for the December 15th show if you can correctly identify us rushing through a Rush song. Steve, this took me by surprise yesterday because it was our first time doing it, and the sound of the fast Rush song was a lot. But we had a correct answer from our contestant.
And he had it right away.
He knew it.
He was a fan. It was good to see a fan win. Yes.
So I'm going to take a random caller right now. I'm just going to smash some buttons here and see who shows up, and we're going to let them play. Who's this? Hello?
Hello.
What's your name?
My name's Alan.
Alan, would you like to play Rushing Through a Rush song?
I most certainly would.
Are you a big fan?
I'm a huge fan.
Well, if
I've seen them 3 times at least.
You've already seen them 3 times. You're going to have no problem with this, I bet you. Okay. So let's go for it. Although you never know. Sometimes in the moment, you get the nerves.
Pressure.
Pressure. So no pressure. Here it goes. Okay. I'm going to let it run for a few moments so you get a sense of it. Here we are, rushing through a Rush song. I'm so sorry. All right, Alan, any thoughts there?
The spirit of radio, but it sounds incredible.
Actually, I kind of dug it. It's got a bit of something.
Could you imagine if Getty was listening to CFAX, on a Wednesday at 8:15 in the morning?
I'm glad he lives in Toronto.
He would not be happy.
You know when you go to rock concerts and they always play the songs a little bit more sped up. Rush doesn't do that, of course, but they could.
Now, it would take some skill, but maybe they could get there. But anyways, Alan, spirit of the radio. You are the winner of today's pair of tickets to see Rush coming to Rogers Arena. I'm so glad you said you saw them 3 times. Well, you're going to add a 4th time, my friend.
Oh, my goodness. This is great. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Hang on the line. We're going to take your information off the air and get you your tickets. We still got 2 more pairs to give away because we got Thursday and Friday to play. We're going to speed up some more Rush. Hopefully nobody assaults me because of the sacrilege.
The guitar riff really did sound interesting.
Well, just the intro to that song. Listen to that again.
That's what it got me.
The drums that are just like, oh man. Anyways, amazing. Got to get over that. 8:16.
It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. Checking your news headlines. New wildfire here on the island yesterday. It was a small blaze located just north of Gold River, less than a hectare. The wildfire service says it's already under control, not expected to grow further. The local fire department and initial attack crews responding quickly there. Southern half of the island dealing with wildfire smoke again today. Forecasters expect it'll be lighter than yesterday and a little more noticeable on the west shore than it is in Victoria. Environment Canada's air quality index will stay at 3. Search continues for a 25-year-old man who went missing near Albert Edward in Strathcona Park after becoming separated from his group on Monday afternoon. Search teams from across the island and the lower mainland are continuing their efforts today. Protesters are sleeping on a road to stop BC from logging a rare old-growth forest here on Vancouver Island. Elder Bill Jones from a First Nation in the Port Renfrew area says he's watched forest on his nation's territory disappear for most of his adult life and wants to save what he can. That's your news headlines to 8:17.
Congratulations again to Alan. Just talking to him there. We're going to do it again tomorrow. Rushing Through a Rush song. Join us for that. We are going to change topics, though, and talk about Pacific FC. By the way, we also have tickets to give away for. I'm just awash in tickets to give away. I got a 4-pack to see Pacific FC play at home this weekend. But we're not just going to give away tickets. We're going to talk to the coach, Terry Dunfield. Coach of Pacific FC.
Formerly of TSN.
Yeah, he was.
The Bell family.
He was doing a bunch of the World Cup coverage.
Yes.
How cool is that? And he was a midfielder for Team Canada. He also played in British soccer leagues. He was in the Premier League, wasn't he? Or at least, I can't remember.
Up there.
Yeah, he was up there.
Yeah.
Anyways, great to catch up with him. What's going to happen to this week's game? Will they get that first win? All of these questions coming up. CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps. For a comfortable home no matter the season, big savings on your heating bill. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. They're designed for comfort. South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. What's going on the roads? Not much. There's smooth sailing out of the West Shore into Victoria. Things are lighter than usual is how I'll qualify that. not nobody on the roads, just much lighter than a usual West Shore commute. For the Pat Bay Highway and the Malahat looking clear. For the BC Ferries, no sailing waits right now. There is that gas main work on Langford Parkway. Watch out for obstructions there near Langford Lake Road. Now to the weather. So some smoke haze back in the air like yesterday. It's very similar to yesterday's forecast. Sunshine, a little bit of humidity, highs of 25, but feeling warmer. And then the haze. What does that mean for air quality is a question we're getting. Well, the Environment Canada Air Quality Index is going to hit about a 3 today. On a scale where 1 is really good and 10 plus is terrible, we're at a 3, which is in their low risk category. So we're never going to get into any kind of concerning risk level for our air quality, but there will be just that noticeable smoke haze kind of hanging over us again today like yesterday. Right now for the temperatures, it is, at the Victoria International Airport, it's 16 degrees. That's the official temperature for Victoria, but a little warmer at the University of Victoria in Saanich, where it's 17.
It's all here. News, weather, traffic, and community events. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
So I got this 4-pack of tickets to give away to see Pacific FC this Saturday. We're going to give those away in a few moments, but even better, we're going to talk to the coach before that because Terry Dunfield, coach of Pacific FC, is on the line with us right now. Sir, how you doing?
Yeah, really good, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
Great to get you here. And we got sports guy Steve in the room as well because he's keen to talk to you as well. But we're talking.
Yeah. Good morning. Welcome to Victoria.
Yeah, it's great to get you here because when you and I spoke, and I know you spoke to Steve as well, it was kind of when you were on your way here. And this is our first time to talk to you since you kind of got there with the team. You've been in Victoria. How's it going for you personally so far?
Personally, it's going great. I'm loving life on the island. My wife's with me, my 4-year-old son. It's so beautiful every single day waking up. But having said that, guys, I got to be real, man. We're in the fight. Yeah. Our team is playing some incredible stuff over the past couple of games, and we can't catch a break right now. We picked up a couple red cards in our last game. I found out this morning we appealed one of them. The appeal didn't go our way. So
that's because Donald Trump couldn't intervene.
Yeah, we need Carney. Get Carney on the call.
Oh, my. So, yeah, because we were talking about Atletico Ottawa the last game, right? And it was a close one.
Oh, we killed them. The math suggested our XG, so the number of chances you create against the number of chances they create, we were 4.5. The last time we hit that number was 4.5 years ago. So we played some really good stuff against the reigning champs. A couple individual errors killed us. We were even frustrated going into that game because the air quality in Hamilton the week before was up around 7. So we started the warm-up, came off the pitch. We're just so excited to show everyone what we're doing, what we're building here, and then we played so well again. Tons of character at this last home game as well. So,
it can be difficult when the guys have not won a game all season because I imagine they're in a road's confidence. It's like having a monkey on your back, and it's so difficult to get past that.
Yeah, great point, Steve. And, we've brought a mental performance coach in to help us with that. I think confidence comes from putting the hard work in, the reps in training. They're going to the gym in the afternoon. The guys are crushing it. So I think they're confident. But having said that, just, getting over the line for that first win is so important. And we've been doing a fair bit of work, too, just living in the moment, living in the present, and just understanding what moment we are at in the game. And there's just, again, been some really, really good stuff. We're close.
Well, one of the things I like to present to people is, because I grew up just outside of London, Ontario, and the Knights won 3 games one season and lost 62 and tied 1. That was their actual record.
Why are you telling me this story?
Because I'm trying to give you confidence moving forward. Now they've won 3 Memorial Cups since then. So sometimes
buddy.
So you have to hit bottom sometimes before you head up the other side.
Oh no, I like it, and we've been in hell for sure, and we're crawling our way out of it. And thanks for taking me on that short journey.
Now, this Saturday is Pacific FC seeking that first win of the season versus Inter Toronto. Take us through what's coming up this Saturday, what you're doing against Inter Toronto, and kind of what fans are hoping to see, because we're going to send 4 people, because we got 4 tickets to give away at the end of this conversation, by the way. So hopefully some listeners are going to get out there and see it. Talk us through what's the plan for Saturday.
I think big picture, I think it's got to be clear, and our fans got to know, and hopefully our new fans coming to the game, that our mission this year is to make the playoffs. There's still a lot of football left. And we're coming up against a team from Toronto that's wobbling a little bit. They just got beat 5-0 by Calgary. Having said that, we got to focus on what we're doing and what we're building, and hopefully come down to Starlight and be a part of our first win of the season, where we really build some momentum for what's left.
And you just said that there's still lots of season left, so take us through that. It's not like it's the end of the road for you. It's not like you're out of playoff contention. You still could technically do it?
Yeah, we still have over half the season left. A month ago, Vancouver FC were in a similar situation to us, where they were performing well. Their XG was high. They put together a couple of wins, and they sit third now. So things can change quickly with just the way the league has played out this year. So we're excited for sure, and we're building something special. And a big part of our mission as well is reconnecting with our fan base and the community. So you're going to see an exciting brand of football, and you're going to see our guys in the community more as well.
Now, you added a couple of veteran players last week. How much does that help?
Yeah, I think, we've put together a 3 to 5 year strategy, but also I think what we need is a bridging strategy to get us to the end of the year to help us nail the goals that we just discussed. And we've brought in a center forward that knows the league well. He scored 4 against us last year. He helped carry Inter Toronto, the team we're playing this weekend, to the playoffs last year. I know him well from my time at Toronto FC. And then we've also brought in a nice young midfielder with some Canadian youth national team experience from Calgary. He's been finding it hard to get minutes there, and he'll just bring a little bit more football to us. So really excited about that, and also how we've beefed up our recruitment team. We've signed a partnership with Kitman Labs. There's a lot of data behind what we're doing as well now. So we have some clear processes in that space, and a former player and captain of ours, Jamar Dixon, is leading that. So there's been some real solid work that's gone into the transfer window already.
Well, we're talking to Terry Dunfield, coach of Pacific FC, and would you like to see the new coach leading the team this Saturday against Inter Toronto, seeking that first win of the season? I got a 4-pack of tickets to give away. So, Terry Dunfield, one last thing I'll ask of you is we're going to give this away to a caller somewhere between 1 and 6, callers 1 through 6. One of those lines we'll pick here. Which one should we pick?
3. And let's ask a question.
Okay.
What year did we, and I think legacy and history is so important, and it's a big part of how we want to play, did we win the North Star, won everything?
North Star.
Yeah, what
Okay.
year did we win the championship?
250-386-1161. Call me now. Tell me, what year did we win North Star, the championship as Pacific FC? And you'll walk away with those 4 tickets to see Saturday's game. Terry Dunfield, love chatting with you about the team. I hope we do it again soon, okay?
Yeah, let's keep this going, guys. Appreciate the support.
All right, cheers.
Have a good day.
There you go. Steve, what do you make of that?
He's on the right track. You can tell he's making changes, and they're not just subtle stuff, like superficial stuff.
Yeah.
When you start to get into, the analytics and stuff, he's got a point to what he's doing. So it's probably not revolutionary, but you set a base that you can work from.
Caller 3 is going to go see him at work on Saturday. So call in now. Answer that skill testing question. We'll give you those tickets. Meanwhile, Steve, it's almost time for the 8:30 news. In fact, it is time for the 8:30 news. So let's just get to that in just a moment.
CFAX 1070 wants you to roar with the BC Lions.
It's Josh and Jade. How does you, three friends, and the BC Lions sound?
We can make it happen. All you got to do is listen.
This week, listen to Josh and Jade afternoons on CFAX 1070 for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to this weekend's home game at BC Place. Lions, Ticats, and you. Listen for your chance to win.
Touchdown, BC Lions!
Get details now at CFAX1070.com.
What a play!
CFAX Victoria,
An iHeartRadio station. If it's happening,
it's here.
CFAX 1070.
It's 8:33 on this Wednesday, August 5th. Let's get right to the news. And here is Steve Young.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Good morning, everyone. Starting with some sad news. Lloyd Robertson, the TV news anchor, Canadians voted most trusted year after year, has died at age 92.
So that's the kind of day it's been on this.
For 11 consecutive years, TV Guide Canada readers voted Lloyd Robertson the TV journalist they trusted most, an honor he took to heart. The Stratford, Ontario native got his start in broadcasting at a local radio station in 1952 before landing with the CBC in 1954 and started in television. Robertson stayed with the public broadcaster until 1976 when he took a job with CTV and became a household name over his 35 years there while covering so much history.
Diana and Charles played their parts. What is there left to say but thank you, thank you, thank you?
Robertson was named a member of the Order of Canada and the Canadian Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame. And in 2007, he also became the first journalist to be inducted into Canada's Walk of Fame.
And that's the kind of day it's been. I'm Lloyd Robertson.
Karen Rebo, The Canadian Press, Toronto.
Director of Wildfire Operations for the Provincial Wildfire Service says BC is entering another significant drying trend, raising the risk of more wildfires over the next few days. Cliff Chapman says parts of southern BC will see temperatures in the low to mid-30s and dry lightning is possible starting on Thursday.
We're continuing to monitor this essentially hourly to look for timing. We will continue to put messaging out on our social feeds as well as information bulletins on the timing of this event, but it will mean that we will see more fires across southern BC. The exact location of those fires is not predictable right now, but as we start to track that system, we will do everything we can to get information out.
The new wildfires sparked on Vancouver Island yesterday, a small blaze located just north of Gold River. The Wildfire Service says it's already under control, not expected to grow. The local fire department did some yeoman's work there. Search continues for a 25-year-old man who went missing near Albert Edward in Strathcona Park after becoming separated from his group on Monday afternoon. Search teams from Vancouver Island and the Lower Mainland are continuing their efforts. And celebrity blogger Paris Hilton reportedly in a Florida hospital.
Internet personality Perez Hilton is reportedly receiving professional medical care after Miami-Dade deputies responded to his residence in Westchester last night. Concerned viewers alerted police after a graphic video appeared on Hilton's live stream, apparently trying to hurt himself. Hilton's management team states they are prioritizing his health and well-being. The sheriff's office confirming that the individual was alone inside the home and safely taken into protective custody. There is no update on the 48-year-old's condition this morning. National mental health resources are available 24/7 by dialing 988. Natalie Rodriguez, Miami.
That's your news to 8:36. The CFAX News Poll, we tried to ask you yesterday, how often did you check the smoke forecast during wildfire season? Every day, once in a while, or never? And unfortunately, we couldn't get that to work on the CFAX1070.com. We'll try with a new poll today. That's your news to 8:37.
Hey, congratulations to Leon. He won the tickets to Pacific FC by being the caller with the correct answer to the coach's question. The coach gave us a skill testing question, which we should give the answer to, by the way, just for those curious. He was wondering, what year did Pacific FC win the North Star Shield, the Canadian Premier League champions of the year? It was 2021 is the correct answer, Steve.
Yes.
That was the year that happened.
1-0 final in the final game.
Yeah.
Big day.
Yeah, so there you go. That was the question that got Leon the tickets. We got more to give away tomorrow, though, so stay tuned. For now, let's talk about some different sports. Yeah, Pacific FC taking on Toronto Saturday, 3 p.m., Starlight Stadium. That's been a cool local game. You also, of course, have the Victoria Shamrocks, some more local sports you can take in. About 2,000 people came out to the Q Center last night for Game 1 in the best-of-5 series against the Nanaimo Timbermen. It's the opening round of the playoffs in the WLA, and Victoria took the game 15-6. Shamrocks will take that 1-0 series lead into Game 2, which is tomorrow in Nanaimo, and then Friday back in Victoria at the Q Center. For the Victoria Harbour Cats, they were on the road, or they were supposed to be. Well, I mean, I guess they are there, but the game got canceled last night because of air quality in Washington State with the Wenatchee Apple Sox. We'll see what happens with Game 3 today of what was supposed to be a 3-game series. For the majors, Toronto Blue Jays in action again tonight. We'll see Jameson Taillon scheduled to make his debut. He was acquired from the Chicago Cubs before the Toronto Monday trade deadline. Yesterday, Houston Astros beating Toronto 7-2. So those two teams going at it again today. And the Vancouver Whitecaps opened up their League's Cup campaign with a 1-0 loss to visiting Atlanta FC. We had just a lot of opportunities in the second half, but no finishing for the Vancouver Whitecaps. And Jesper Sorensen, the coach, says his players do need to keep their cool when opportunities arise.
Maybe a couple of players used to score more, have not scored in a while, and then you get stressed a little bit, and that's what is normal. But we know these guys, and they will definitely be banging the ball in the back of the net.
The Whitecaps continue League's Cup play on Friday when they host FC Juarez. This is your CFAX Sports to 840. Hey, CFAX Morning Show brought to you by Coastal Heat Pumps for big savings on your heating bill. A comfortable home no matter the season. Talk to Coastal Heat Pumps. They're designed for comfort. The South Island's Elite Plus Fujitsu Air Stage dealer. On the roads right now, I'm looking at no major problems, crashes, accidents, or volume delays out of the West Shore. If you see otherwise, you can text me at 71010. No waits at BC Ferries. The thing of note in our traffic and weather is actually the weather with more smoky haze in the air, but the air quality is going to stay okay. It's going to be in the low risk category. It's a 3 on the scale of 1 to 10 plus for today in the greater Victoria area. So that haze is there, some sunshine as well, highs of 25, a humidex of 28, so feeling a bit warmer in the humidity. It's actually the same forecast as yesterday. So if you remember yesterday, that's what we're getting again today. Clear skies tonight, lows to 13, other than a bit of haze. We have sunshine tomorrow with highs of 24, humidex of 28 again. It's looking very similar to tomorrow. Kind of very stable weather taking us through the week right now. And the temperatures are heating up into the day. Right now it is 16 degrees in Victoria. S&P TSX in Toronto up 462 points to 36,264. The Dow is up 451 to 54,536. NASDAQ is now dropped 12 points to 26,572. Canadian dollar at 71.3 cents US, which is up from yesterday's close.
Don't attempt your morning commute without us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
We love it when you join the conversation at 71010, and texter here says, good morning. What is the amount for the 50-50, please, and thanks. Have a good day. Yes, this is the Mega Summer 50-50 for CFAX Santa's Anonymous and their Kids Count program, which is how they help kids.
5 ans.
Beyond Christmas, the 5 ans. I'm glad you asked, texter, because we have broken the 12,000 mark. The jackpot in our 50-50 is $12,405 as of this very moment.
Cha-ching.
Yeah. So if you were to, win it now, you'd get half that. You'd get, over $6,000 would be the prize, with $6,000 going to charity. And you can still buy tickets right now by going to cfax1070.com. You'll see it right there, right on the main page. First thing you'll see is the big button, the 50-50. Click on that. You buy the tickets online, single ticket for 10, 5-pack for 25, 20-pack for 50, just like your regular 50-50. The more you buy, the more you get the savings. So don't wait. We're going to do the draw on August 28th, but it could sell out. There's only a certain number of tickets that we can do for this. So Friday, August 28th is the draw. Lots of time before then to buy your 50-50 ticket. We've also been having these wonderful stories told all day long, Steve, about the snowbirds. So did you see it? Did you go and catch the snowbirds? Did you experience the traffic to and from? It was a whole experience yesterday. This texter at 71010 says, I watched the snowbirds from Finlayson, Clover Point. I have seen the snowbirds several times. There was smoky haze. It did take away something from the show, if I'm honest, as it hid them as they make formations, which is awesome to watch. It was still worth the trip, though, from Mill Bay to show my patriotic thanks to our birds. One of the many messages we've been getting today, just talking about how it all went. And then, the traffic jams or something. This texter says there was a cycling traffic jam on Government Street in James Bay. Cars parked in bike lanes. That was one of the big moments, I think, as well as the snowbirds, was just experiencing what one listener described as a human parade trying to leave. Yes, you were at a traffic jam, but you could frame it this way. You were just part of a human parade. I love that a texter did that at 71010. At 8:45, what else is going on? Steve's got your update from the newsroom. What's going on, Steve?
Well, Ryan, let's start with some sad news. Veteran broadcaster Lloyd Robertson being remembered as one of Canada's most trusted ever news anchors. He died yesterday night at the age of 92. He got his start in broadcasting in 1952 in his hometown of Stratford, Ontario, at a local radio station before eventually moving to CBC and then the CTV. After months of controversy, the Gordie Howe Bridge opened to pedestrians and cyclists this morning. Windsor man camped out for 28 hours to be the first Canadian to cross into the U.S. on the newly opened 2.5-kilometer path. The Federal Green Party says it has 2 approved candidates for the party leadership to take over from Saanich and the Gulf Islands MP Elizabeth May. Former Kitchener Centre MP Mike Maurice throwing his hat into the ring. He served 1 term in Parliament. Ottawa's Neera Dukaran has a 12-year history with the party as an organizer and as a candidate for both the federal and Ontario Greens. The winner will be announced on November the 14th. That's your news headlines to 8:46.
Thank you, Steve. Texters letting us know about their snowbird experience. You can keep those coming, but we're going to change topics in a moment. The City of Victoria and the Greater Victoria Chamber of Commerce launching a new pilot program aiming to help local entrepreneurs launch and grow their businesses. We're going to find out more with Chamber CEO John Wilson.
From CFAX 1070.
Here's what's happening around the island.
Victoria Symphony presents Symphony in the Summer Festival, July 10th through August 9th. Details at victoriasymphony.ca. Catch all the excitement of summer baseball with the Victoria Harbour Cats. More info at harbourcats.com. Have an event you want featured on CFAX 1070? Text us at 71010 to be featured.
Get more event info at cfax1070.com.
If it's happening, it's here.
CFAX 1070.
CFAX 1070 traffic and weather. Things are smooth out there on the roads. No waits at BC Ferries. And the weather is sunny with some smoke haze. That is the situation for today. It's very much like yesterday. Humidex at 28 as well. So feeling like 28 degrees in the humidity. 25 degrees will be our high otherwise. Right now sitting at 16. Clear skies with a bit of haze tonight. Lows to 13. Then tomorrow it's the same forecast again. Friday might cool off a little bit. And then on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, sunny with a few clouds. Highs in the mid to low 20s. Right now, like I said, 16 degrees for Victoria.
Thanks for starting your day with us. Ryan and Lisa, mornings on CFAX 1070.
Joining us right now, he is the CEO of the Greater Victoria Chamber of Commerce, John Wilson, talking about a new program, an inaugural class for entrepreneurs wanting to launch and grow their business. We're going to find out more about this in just a moment. John Wilson, how you doing?
Great. Good morning, Ryan. Thanks for having me on.
Great to get you here. Hey, before we get into it, did you see the snowbirds last night?
I did. Yeah, I was down on Dallas Road and watched the snowbirds performance. It was fantastic. A great piece of Canadiana, and it's always been one of my favorites, watching the snowbirds. And the chamber were able to help connect Dan Dempsey and his team with the snowbirds with Kelly Curta and the Greater Victoria Festival Society, and they pulled off a fantastic event, I think, for our local community, and always great. And thanks to CFAX for being down there supporting as well.
Yeah, it was great to be there because it really was. I mean, the snowbirds were the main attraction, but I think just sort of being there with tens of thousands of other Victorians down along the waterfront, that's kind of a neat vibe as well.
Absolutely, just a beautiful evening, and just shows what this community can pull off. We're definitely punched well above our weights with events like this, and it's just great to be side by side with Greater Victoria supporting such a iconic Canadian event like the Snowbirds, and hopefully we get to see them around again one day soon.
Well, let's leave that for now, but hopefully you're right. We do get the Snowbirds back in whatever capacity they return in. We will see them Saturday, I guess. They're going to go by the David Foster Foundation show in the Inner Harbor. So we don't have to wait long for another little Snowbirds flyover. But anyways, let's talk about something else, because we got you here because you got this thing called Launch Victoria. It's the City of Victoria and the Chamber of Commerce getting together to create this pilot program. It's supposed to help local entrepreneurs launch and grow their business. But tell me more about it. What is this?
Well, it's great to be working side by side with the city. You know, we've said for a long time here at the Chamber is that, businesses want to be part of the solution. And Launch Victoria is a new partnership between the Greater Victoria Chamber of Commerce and the City of Victoria, helping local companies grow and scale. Businesses are telling us they need clearer support and better access to mentors and strong path to investment. And Launch Victoria delivers just that. It's about building a more competitive, resilient economy for Greater Victoria.
And it's a pilot program where people actually can join up and join a cohort, like a class?
Yeah, so it's on the City of Victoria website and on the Chamber website, the link to it. And the goals of the program are to help local companies grow, attract investments, strengthen the region's long-term economic future, and along with providing mentorship, capital connections, of course, connections to capital and practical tools for entrepreneurs. So they can move faster through the system. And it truly is about positioning Greater Victoria to compete with other mid-sized cities with strong innovation ecosystems. And we do compete with other cities, cities like Kelowna and Nanaimo and Surrey. Of course, they're building strong innovation systems and business growth ecosystems, trying to attract entrepreneurs and businesses to their regions. But of course, we have we believe we have in Greater Victoria competitive advantages that we all know about. We have an highly educated talent base supported by a fantastic post-secondary institutions, our fantastic quality of life, and that attracts and retains these great skilled workers, giving what we think employers a recruitment edge over these other cities. And just as collaborative innovation will help, draw and give entrepreneurs a step up with our competitors.
So in your view, who's the ideal candidate here? Who are you hoping will apply for this? What kind of person, what kind of entrepreneur do you think would benefit from this?
Well, it's about starting new business. So young new businesses looking for support, both from the city and with the chamber. It gives a free year membership to the chamber and lots of support and teaching opportunities, education opportunities through the Launch Victoria, and all the information is on the website. And we're really excited to get it going.
I think you've probably answered this by saying that the type of things you're hoping to help people out in this launch program, but I'll still ask, what do you think the big challenges are for an entrepreneur trying to start out in Victoria? What are the hurdles they've got to get across?
Well, it's tough. It's about access to capital for sure. Capital is tight right now. The financial institutions are very strained, restricting and much tougher on particularly unproven businesses. For sure. They're looking, so people who have great ideas and want to get in business, they're looking for mentorship, people who have been in business, particularly in Greater Victoria, to navigate the barriers that are sometimes put in place through and it also offers training and networks that they wouldn't otherwise have access to. So it really helps companies with strong ideas overcome these barriers to growth, and we're excited to get it going for sure.
Now, you, of course, had a successful run at business in Victoria. Do you think you would have been helped out by a program like this when you were first starting out?
Well, Ryan, to be honest, I'm second generation, so I did have the program. It was a program of mom and dad. My mom and dad started our business, so I was very, very lucky to be able to have particularly my dad to lean on and learn from. But a lot of people don't have that, and it's an opportunity for young entrepreneurs to learn from people who have been through the wars of entrepreneurship, and it's a tough battle. And not for the weak of heart. And I applaud anyone who follows their passion and wants to get into business and be successful. And it's hard work, and it's a lot of ups and downs. And anything we can do to support them from a chamber perspective and in partnership here with the city, I think goes a long way to growing our region's business base.
Well, the applications are open for Launch Victoria from the City of Victoria and the Greater Victoria Chamber of Commerce joining up for this pilot program. City website's got more information if you want to check it out. But that's John Wilson. He's CEO of the Greater Victoria Chamber of Commerce. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks so much for telling us all about this. Good luck with it.
Yeah, thanks very much, Ryan. Really appreciate having me on.
Well, there we go. That's a great program. Great to hopefully help launch a few careers and a few entrepreneurs in the City of Victoria. That's just about all the time we have for today here on Ryan and Lisa Mornings on CFAX 1070 with Steve Young guesting for Lisa, but we'll be back at it tomorrow. Much more to come. Steve's got your 9 o'clock news in a moment. Adam Sterling will be back on the local talk show microphone at 11, and then great talk radio all through the day. Join us tomorrow because we'll have another 4-pack of tickets to give away to see Pacific FC play this Saturday at Starlight Stadium. And we're also giving away more Rush tickets as we rush through a Rush song. We're going to play another round of that tomorrow as well, so I hope you'll join us. But in the meantime, have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday.
CFAX Victoria,
an iHeartRadio station.